Come on. Come on. Come on. Boo. Surprise. It's me. I bet you thought you'd seen the last of me, bitch. What is up, Dramacitas? That's a good one. I like that. I like that. Very good, very good. N3 is first. Let's go. Everybody witness N3. Hang on. I need my soundboard. I'm not complete without my soundboard. Good job, N3. What's up, Poet, Dragonite, Cyborg, Grayson, Max, SMJ, CZ Titty, Teddy, CZ Titty. Wow. We can already tell what kind of day it's going to be, can't we? Graham, Nosegay, what is up? I'm glad that you're fixated on my coverage of drama. That's good. I love being everybody's special interest. The neurodivergent community loves me. Coconut, what's good? Lulu Bell, what's good? Josh, what's good? Strobs, you're in the van. Good. Happy to hear it. Bloody Teeth, what's good? Cyber Noob, what is good, bud? Poet is here. Inventing Emu is here. Clockwork Clown is here. Okay, Kiddo is here. Pain is here. Venko is here. I love Venko. Love Venko. What's up, Starshine? The Earth says hello. What's up, Andy? Ido. NB Bear. Ren. Dopamine. Andy. Oh, Psy. My favorite lesbian. Let's go. Rat Bastard, what's up? Spotted Gecko, what is up? What's up, Rose Weaver? Shotgun Fox. Who else is here? Who else is here? Evan is here. Witness. Evan is here. Let's go. Witness! You showed your boyfriend Lexity? Very cool. Lexity is my favorite. My favorite. Got your Galaxy House locked and loaded, ready to go. Let's do it. Let's do DJB, big up for the Twitch chat. Let's go. My lone Twitch soldier. Let's go. Let's go. Oh, gosh. I breathe like Brianna Wu. Why would you fucking say that? Why would you fucking say that, bro? Guards! Guards! What's up? Cosmic Chasm. Italia. Max. Buck Moon. You're the only streamer I watch to have got my name right. Well, I have autism, so I got you. Theora, what is good? Oh, thank you, Venko. I feel naked and my head is very cold. I'm tired of getting my hair cut so frequently. I usually get my hair cut like every 2 weeks, and I was like, I'm tired of doing this. I'm just going to get it cut really short, and then we'll go from there. Because normally I get my hair cut really frequently, but I just don't feel like it. I called someone Sweet Pea, not deranged yesterday. I call my wife Sweet Pea, unfortunately, so you're locked and loaded and ready to go. Happy, happy, happy. What's up, Spook Hazard? How are you? Oh, Ronan, hello, hello. It's me, Osama. Very cool. Very cool. Love that. Love that. Yeah, I don't wish that I was bald. Can't relate to that one. But you know, I love that for you. Live your truth, girly pop. Live your truth, girly pop. All right, give me 1 second here. Let's see. Where am I, guys? Where am I? I've got a few options today. A few options, you guys. We have a few options. Haterade is on tap this afternoon. That's probably what I should have put in the title. I think I'm gonna change that. We're gonna do Haterade keg stands. I'm gonna change that. We're changing that to Haterade keg stands. I like that better. That's a little bit more on brand, I think. So we've got a few options. We've got a few things that we can do. Don't smoke in bed. How are you? Unfortunately, it is Yellow Jackets night, you guys. So I do have to go at a certain time. Unfortunately, sorry, I have to go to watch Yellow Jackets. So we have quite a few options. I don't know how to spell this. Okay. These are what we have here. I was unable to tend to my mamacitas yesterday. I had some shit that I had to do. I had some shit that I had to do yesterday. So, we are hanging out today. I may or may not have time tomorrow, depending on what my day looks like. But just remember next week we get ultimate bro time. Because it's the start of my birthday month, you guys. So we'll be locked in for extra long girl time on Wednesday and Thursday morning. Okay. Um, if I DJ, it's gonna be in the Discord, so I don't get fucked on copyright. So if we DJ, we're gonna do it in the Discord. So we'll get around to that eventually. So, oh, thanks. Don't smoke in bed. You're so kind. Yes, it's Yellow Jackets night, so I do have to go at a reasonable time because I do have to watch Yellow Jackets this evening. So let's go Aries. Let's go. It's Aries season, you guys. Jupiter is upside down. You know what that means. Put your lemons outside. Mr. Pussy, I have your video on my list. I just don't know if I'm going to get to it today, but I have not forgotten about you, Mr. Pussy. My strongest soldier. Any hooser. So on the list, we have Lexity updates, obviously. There's been quite a lot that's been going on, okay? Dollcast is Brianna Wu's podcast. McMad made a video. Oliver made a video about it. It's actually a really fucking funny video. I thought it was hilarious. So we can watch that together. And then Not So Erudite is difficult to watch. Difficult to watch. I don't know if you guys have seen that show on Netflix. It's called Adolescence. It's about apparently everybody's mad because apparently it's based on a real life case, and in the real life case, the killer was black, and then in the Netflix series, the killer is white, and so everybody was like, oh, they hate white people or something like that. I don't know anything about the real case, but it's about like a 13-year-old that kills somebody, and the 13-year-old is actually, really into Andrew Tate and the Manosphere and shit like that. And that's Not So Erudite's favorite thing to talk about is young men. And I personally can't think of a better person that men want to listen to than a middle-aged white woman who got kicked in the head by a horse. I can't think of anybody better to talk to men about men's issues. So those are those are those are our options to start with, okay? So you guys take your time. And we'll chill for a minute and then we'll go. Today we're enjoying Michelob Ultra, you guys. Ultra Zero, okay? My non-alcoholic beverage that has 6.5 grams of protein. You guys are sleeping on the Michelob Ultra Zeros. You guys are sleeping on these, okay? These are good. Wow, it tastes like my youth. Ugh. Wow. TBT. TBT. That's okay. I had a great Lily Orchard stream yesterday that has already ratioed her video I reacted to. What video was it? Was it the Avatar one? I truly wonder if it just grinds her gears that you get like quadruple the viewership that she does. And you're like a fraction of the size of her channel. I think that's pretty funny. Aries gang, rise up. Tell your grandma happy birthday. I know, I'm a little abuela. I gotta go and watch my story. Sorry, guys. Has Alexity found out about your channel? I don't know. She mostly streams on Instagram. I don't really use Instagram at all. So, I mean, if she's talked about it, I haven't heard about it. If she has, please tell me. I'm very excited to learn about this information, but no. To my knowledge, she doesn't. I don't know. I'm an Aries bitch too. Let's go, Aries gang. Let's go, guys. Malcolm, you could maybe pass for Xander Hall. Probably not. Probably not. I think that Xander Hall got a haircut last in like 2018. I think that's the last time that Xander Hall got a haircut. And I also hate weed. So it's actually terrible that you would say that. It's actually terrible that you would say that to me. Guards! I know it was very unwoke. It was, very white phobic of them. There's nothing that masculine men love more than a woman that got kicked in the head by a horse. Fake news, she was thrown over a fence by a horse, not kicked by a horse. Same thing. The horse is the reason that she has brain damage. Horses are just menaces to society, bro. I don't know why white women continue to tempt fate by trying to ride horses. Like, you know what I'm saying? Do you understand what I'm saying? I feel like it's a bad choice. You know what I mean? Like white women and horses. It's obviously a dangerous combination, yet we continue to tempt fate. I don't know. Michelob taste like how it feels to like the stream. So true, Graham. So true. Make sure to like the stream, guys. Otherwise, I'm gonna ride a horse. Where was I? Doesn't NSC not so subtly crush on Destiny? Yeah, and I wouldn't say not so subtly. She's like the number one dick rider. She is like the dick riding squire.
S'ha donatet $5 truc superchat. I m'await pomanen timafrai tu vurses imbull different.
Thank you very much for the $5, Sai. And you are a different. You're built different. You're one of the good ones, Sai. You're one of the good ones. You're one of the good ones. I'll allow it to be. Weed. Lexity sounds like a slur at this point. The Interhall is also balding. Malcolm could never. It's in the cards, guys. At some point in the next probably like 5 to 10 years, I am gonna be bald. It is gonna happen. It's certainly gonna happen. I know it is. I know it's coming. But I'm not afraid of aging. Okay? I'm not afraid of aging. It's a natural part of life. And if I go bald, I'm just gonna tattoo my fucking head. Okay? So you're gonna get Cholo Malcolm. When I lose my hair, and you can already see it's certainly thinning out. When it's gone, Cholo Malcolm will be present at all times, okay? Because all the homies, you know what I mean? Baby, let me show you how I lean. It's like a Cholo, okay? It's the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse because it's an overabundance of horses in hell. Very true. Horses are the only animals that are ontologically evil. Very true. Very true. IDKY, like the stream where I'm gonna ride a horse, got me. Well, because I'm threatening. That's basically akin to threatening suicide at this point. You know what I mean? Thank you very much for the $2, Anonymous. And yes, that's a nightmare blunt rotation. Okay, extra hard question for chat. As per usual, death is not an option. Okay, you must choose. Death is not an option. Fuck, marry, kill. Poppy, Leadhead, Lexity. Death is not an option. What are we doing? What are we doing? Fuck, marry, kill. Okay, Lexity, Leadhead, and Poppy. Death is not an option. You have to choose. I'm scared of anything that could kick my face in. Very true. Very true. Yeah, women, true.
S'ha donatet $5 truc superchat. New Patreon ties. Lluget tu xusatatu on Malcolm's baldaat.
Thank you for the $5, Sai. And you know what? Maybe. Big enough dono, and you can pick a tattoo that goes on my head. I'll think about it. We'll cross that bridge when we get there, okay? I don't want to get ahead of myself. I still have a couple of years of hair left. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. We'll cross that bridge when we get there. Also, I saw that Keffels tased herself on stream, so I'm thinking for like $500 I'll tase myself on stream. Like $500. I'll tase myself on stream. And I won't do like a little bitch taser either. I'll do the ones that like shoot the prongs. Like I'll shoot well, I probably won't be able to do it on stream, but I'll take a video of it, of me getting tased. It'll be like one of the police grade ones where it like shoots the prongs. I'm thinking 500. Don't begin now. Don't start right now. But I'm thinking like 500-ish. I'm thinking about it. But again, let's not get ahead of ourselves. We'll cross that bridge when we get there. Okay, you guys? Has anyone ever told you that you look like Jesse Pinkman? No, but I mean, maybe. I guess I could see it. I feel like I don't have a lot of doppelgangers, so. Death is not an option. Fuck. But no, you must choose one of each. Fuck Poppy, apparently. Why would you? Fuck Poppy. Crazy pussy is apparently great. I shouldn't have asked this question. Are we allowed to get a divorce after dealing with the marriage for a month? At least a year. You have to at least be in the marriage for a year. Okay. You guys are bold in your choices today. Okay. I don't have to answer. I was asking the question. I don't have to answer. Sorry. Damn, you guys really want me to get tased. What is this aggressive? I wish I had $500. That's a little aggressive. Calm down now. Calm down now. Cooler Jesse Pinkman. Okay, thank you. Being tased is not that bad, in my opinion, but I just work here. Aaron Paul's cousin. Thanks, guys. Thanks. Malcolm is the Jesse Pinkman genre of dudes. Thank you. Can I lobotomize myself before marriage? No. I know. You guys love to hate. I'm a hater, therefore you guys are all haters. I know how it goes. I'm not. It's not my first time around the block. I know.
Anonymous 238 donatet $2 truc superchat. What if Lea Daat is the one bo pays you $500?
I would do it. Yeah. If Leadhead pays me $500, I'll tase myself on stream. Yeah. Well, not on stream. I'd have to record it, like I said. But yes. Better question. Who would you let trips hit you? That's a good one as well. That's a good one. If I had to pick a trip sitter, honestly, probably Lexity. I think I would have Lexity trips hit me just because she probably knows what she's doing. You know what I mean? She seems like she's been around the block a little bit. I think I would do that. If I heard like yip yip like while I was fucking tripping, I think I would end it all. I don't think I could do that. I don't know, dude. I don't know, dude. Yeah, I feel like Lexity has been around the block a few times, but I don't know. She would be like, "You're being such a good puppy," and then I would be like, "Ah, nightmare!" Like, I don't know. No, I don't think I could witness that. I love those videos where it's like, POV, I'm your trip sitter, and it's like, your phone's not in my bag. Are you okay? You're like drooling all over your face, and your eyes look really weird. Are you alright? I accidentally just texted your entire family that you're high right now. I'm so sorry. Well, the question is, if Lexity is trip sitting me, do I have to be in the van? Or can we be somewhere else? Because if we're in the van, I would say pass. But if we're like at a park or something, I feel like I would be okay. I feel like I would be okay if we were like at a public park. You know what I mean? I think that'd be fine. But if I was in the van, I don't think I would like that at all. All right, looks like we're starting with Lexity updates. Gucci. Gucci gang, Gucci gang, Gucci gang, Gucci gang. Wow, you guys really love that. You guys really love that. All right. Let's see here. Let's get on Reddit. All right. And then, all right, let me go down to where we left off, guys, because there's been a lot. There's been a lot that's been going on. So let's go down. Let's go down. What is this? Oh, I thought that said the dog is transphobic. That's not what it said. Sorry. Okay, so we saw the dog thing. We got the update that we have the dog. That update has been we know that one. We know that one. Put this over here. All right, and then quickly we'll just do TMT with just a robot. Oh my god, bro. That sounds terrible. Okay, before we do our updates, we'll do a little TLDR for those of us who are new to Lexity. Okay, new to Lexity. We have previous coverage of this individual, but just for a quick rundown. Okay, this has been popping off probably since like January, right? So, 25-year-old, uh, you know, BPD queen, sexually aggressive slash assaultive. It's alleged that she has molested several individuals, up to and including sniffing their crotch while they were asleep. Just sit on with that one for a second. Tried to steal a dog at one point, and has also said that dogs can consent to drinking alcohol. And I'm always scared when people start arguing the metrics of consent when it comes to animals. It's like, well, dogs can consent to da da da. It's like, you probably want to fuck the dog. So scary to me. She does the polycule thing. She gets on Instagram Live and just freaks the fuck out. Like, I'm talking like level 10 meltdown on Instagram Live. Very entertaining. Her entire moderation team is really made up of high schoolers, which I think is weird. And she talks a lot about like kink and sex and being a dommy mommy and weird shit like that. But a lot of her moderators are like 15-year-olds, so that's kind of weird. She is white and said that she is the trans Malcolm X. And she also says the N word because obviously trans Malcolm X, she gets the pass, obviously. And then she also said that because she's trans, she's kind of like unlocked every slur, which was news to me. I didn't know that you got every slur if you were trans. So I've been censoring myself for what? I'm not sure. Apparently, if you're trans, you can actually say all of the slurs. Surprise. She also like hates cis women, says that cis women are evil, they don't know their place, they're really dangerous, blah 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 blah. But she, oddly enough, only quests after cis women. Very odd. So dogs can consent. We said that on there. She wants her followers to tattoo her like name and shit on their bodies. And again, her audience is very young. They're young people, which is a problem. She also said that she like gets off on crashing out. Like she knows that everybody thinks that it's sexy when she crashes out. It's not. And so she's, doing that. She also bakes homemade BDSM whips and shit like that. And she whips herself on live stream. Very odd. Definitely is abusing Adderall in combination with lithium, which is certainly a problem. There's also some weird instances where her eyes are blown the fuck out. So that's a little bit more than Adderall, right? If I took my glasses off and I put my face in the camera, I have a light right here. If I put my face in the camera and my pupils were like this fucking big, that's not normal. That means that we're probably doing a little something, right? Usually like an upper or something, that starts with M and it rhymes with Seth, that kind of stuff. Suicide baits a lot, nobody loves me, everybody hates me, I'm gonna go eat worms, blah, blah, blah. Doesn't care about posting not safe for work content because minors are gonna find it anyway. Very strange. And then she often solicits her community members to meet up with her in real life, which is where a lot of the molesting has happened. And then obviously probably a dog fucker. We have that written down. And then the other thing recently is that she got a dog. She recently got a dog. Terrifying. We're praying for the dog, okay? We're praying for the dog. And then now she's living with this new woman. It's her partner. And she lives like in the house. She still has her van. She crowdfunded $30K to get this van with GoFundMe. So she got this van, and then she's DIYing the van, but she doesn't wear PPE. And then the whole van is just filled with like fiberglass from the insulation. And if you tell her, "Hey, girl, like wear a mask when you're doing that," she's like, "I'm a dummy mommy. Don't tell me what to do." So quite an individual. So we're just gonna catch up. We're just going to catch up and see what she's been up to lately. If you want more context, I've covered Lexity before. If you, drop down in there, if you dive into the depths of my channel, there's Lexity videos in there. So she's kind of a niche cow, you guys. She's kind of a niche cow. So, allow me to introduce you to your new favorite crash out girly, okay? So this is on her Instagram. She mostly streams on Instagram, and we'll get a few videos in here, I'm sure, of her freaking the fuck out. Those are not few and far between. They're pretty common, okay? So, so the other thing that she does too is she'll give herself piercings on Instagram Live regularly, but she does this in her fiberglass van, without gloves or anything like that. It's very, very unsanitary. And then she gets mad at anybody who's like, hey, girl, like maybe disinfect that. She gets really mad. So this person says, please tell me you disinfected the septum. And then Lexity says, this is her. Her username is Annie Athena. Lexity, her name. So here's all the list. Okay. Lexity, Annie Athena, Anastasia, Alexandria. And then her last name is like Lenin. She's like a leftist girly, but doesn't know anything about it. It's very funny. Anyway, sorry. So she says, I rolled it in dirt and stranger's blood. Now tell me how that affects you. And this person says, I was just worried for your health. My apologies. I didn't mean to offend you. And then she says, you assuming that I'm incompetent, too late to matter, isn't kind. I hope you grow up. And then she says, you're either naive or also judgy. Excuse me. You are either naive or also judgy. Advice given too late to matter is just judging. And then this person says you're taking it the wrong way. And she said, I did roll it in dirt in a stranger's blood. So somebody's like, hey girl, did you disinfect that? And she's like, why the fuck do you care? It's like, oh, okay, chill. So let's see what this is.
No, like, I would have thought it was obvious, but I've had a lot of conversations with people who don't seem to understand that you telling me what you think I should do without me asking isn't a kind thing for you to do, and I don't appreciate it, actually. Especially.
And then it's giving me Johnny Depp in Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. Like this speech pattern, this cadence, the way that she talks. It's really giving me Johnny Depp in Willy Wonka. You know, that's what it's giving me. So
when you give me that advice, too late for me to even follow that advice if I thought it was a good idea. Like, you telling me I should have done something is just, like, not good advice. Like, I literally can't follow it, so it doesn't function as advice. It only...
True. If you guys are like, Malcolm, don't drink 17 Rolling Rocks, and I'm like, I'm already hammered, you guys, why would you give me that dog shit advice? It's too late. Like, well, you know, maybe next time you could not drink 17 Rolling Rocks, Malcolm. So, okay. And then this is, the irony. I don't know what this one is. Just some unsolicited shaving advice. Oh, so then she's giving shaving advice after bitching about advice. Okay, funny. Oh, excuse me. Okay. So this is Drag is Transphobic. I'll leave links to both videos right here. The only thing I wanted to note of is really from this live stream isn't actually about her comments on drag. It's about the people on the live. Oh, I don't care. I don't care about the comments, girl. I don't care. Okay. And then she got a dog. Pray for the dog, guys. Pray for the dog. Everybody, say your prayers. What type of dog is that? Very cool. And the dog's name is Artemis. Artemis. Why can't we just name our dogs like Snickerdoodle? Why can't we name the dog something
violent
normal?
When I'm mad? There is zero evidence of that ever.
Okay, so I'm going to back this up a little bit. So some of the allegations of... So remember that she lives in a van, okay? Remember that she lives in a van, okay? So she travels around, you know, she goes and sees the girlies and the gays and all that other shit in her van. She usually meets up with people by saying like, oh, I need somewhere to take a shower, or oh, I need somewhere to stay, or something like that, right? So she has been accused of a lot of shit, okay? A lot of different shit. A lot of it is like sexual aggression, posturing, yelling, threatening, breaking things like this. It's also worth noting that at one point, her mom got a protection order against her because she was afraid of her. So she is very aggressive, not only in the way that she speaks, but also in the way that she acts with other people. And so she loves you're saying I'm aggressive, that's transphobic because you're saying that all trans women are aggressive. Or if you say, hey, you're kind of like a sex freak, she's like, oh, so you're saying trans people are sex freaks. That's very transphobic of you. So that's, that's where this is coming from.
She kicked me out because I'm violent when I'm mad. There is zero evidence of that ever. There is zero evidence of that ever. I get angry and I yell. If yelling is violence, then yes, I yell when I am mad. That is it. That's it. That's it. And in fact, my mother filed a restraining order against me that got immediately dismissed because she wasn't afraid of me. Because there is no evidence that I have ever done anything physical to anyone under without it being self-defense, which there isn't evidence for either. I just actually have defended myself sometimes, you know.
Sad artwork. I will not tolerate this slander. Everyone knows, okay, that I do not partake in degeneracy. Okay?
And I haven't hurt anyone. I have never hurt anyone, physically. I have gotten angry and I have yelled. That's it. Or
cool.
I mean, I've gotten in like consensual scraps back in fucking middle school. you know. But that's not what we're talking about, is it? No. I'm
You guys, I'm literally not violent, but anyway, so I did have a restraining
not a
order.
physically abusive person, nor have I ever
Oh,
been.
the dog.
And if you believe I am, it's because you're transphobic.
Girl, literally, fuck you. If you believe that I'm violent, it's because you're transphobic. If you guys have any negative thoughts, feelings, thoughts, anything like that about me, you're transphobic. Yes, this is the alcoholic dog. So she would, I'm sure we'll talk about it more if it comes up, but she said that dogs can consent to drinking alcohol because dogs often eat rotten fruit. Therefore, dogs consent to getting fucked up. Okay, so when your puppy eats like a chicken bone and they die from it, that's okay because the dog consented to it. If your cat eats like lilies or something like that, well, I mean, it's because your cat consented to it and wanted to die. Truthfully, I think your cat is just suicidal, and you should let your cat make its own decision. You know what I mean?
My house
Okay.
with literally 20 minutes notice because my mother fired.
Okay, I don't
So I
care about
moved
this
into a
one. This is her talking about getting kicked out of her mom's house. I don't care about that.
Given away, and I lost my
Yeah, I don't care. I don't care. Okay. So we're praying for the puppy's safety. I completely agree with this. Everybody say a prayer for Artemis the dog. Everybody pray for Artemis the dog,
We
okay?
didn't need to pray.
around this entire country trying to find anyone.
Okay. Oh, here we go. Okay. Someone on her latest video is talking about the title to the car that she's abandoned. So this person says, "Hi, Sweet Pea. I emailed you about the car title, and I have tried to reach you a few times, as has my friend. If you don't have it, can you please let me know so that I don't keep waiting to get one? Thank you." So the lore behind this, to my understanding, and I don't know if this is true or not, I haven't looked for it, but I've seen this stuff kind of floating around, but I haven't seen a physical document or like any like legal record of this. Before she got her van, and again, she crowdfunded $30K for this van, okay? Before that, she was living out of like a shit kicker Nissan, I think. Something like that. A little shit kicker car. She abandoned the car in Oregon and posted on TikTok and Instagram and was like, free car, come and get it. Keys in the car, come and get it. I don't want it. It's alleged that that car is stolen. And the reason that she kind of bops around everywhere to different states all the time is because she has a warrant out for a stolen vehicle. That's what the allegation is. I've never seen any like tangible proof of this. I've never seen a police report. I've never seen a warrant or anything like that. I haven't seen any of that myself, but that's how the theory goes. So she left the car and told one of her followers to go and get the car. And obviously you can't transition a car to a new owner if you don't have a title, because so if I am going to sell a car to someone, I have to sign over the car to them. So Don't Smoke in Bed wants to buy my car. We sign the title, and then I give the title to Don't Smoke in Bed, and now it's Don't Smoke in Bed's car. If you don't have a title, that means the car is stolen. So if she's unable to transfer the title of the car, it's more than likely stolen. Okay. Let's see, what's this one? And then so here's her tattooing herself on stream. As you can see, we're just doing squiggly little lines here. Let's do a little analysis, shall we? Oh, it won't let me zoom in on this. That's so stupid. So yeah, so she's doing little scribbles on her arm. Let's see what we have here. We've got, yeah, look at that. That's beautiful. So our nails are really fucking dirty. We don't have any gloves on. There's no like kind of wrapping on the gun itself. The cord isn't wrapped, and it looks like we're doing this in the van. So as you can see here, this is the plywood that is over the insulation, so I can tell that we're in the van here. We are in the fiberglass asbestos van. You might be entitled to financial compensation if you've ever been in this van, just as a heads up. So this is really cool. This is really cool. Very cool. And she's encouraging others to do the same. Guys, scribble on yourself. Okay. So this one is me when I can never be wrong, and so I think these are funny. So this person says, as a professional tattoo artist, I care because I don't want you to get infections, diseases, and encouraging folks to try out a surgical art form that deserves ancestral respect. Love and light, just be safe and mindful. And then Lexi says, ancestral respect or sanitation, like pick one, because germ theory is very new compared to tattooing. I do know what I'm doing, and I've done this a lot. What's actually interesting, if you know anything about the history of body modification, tattooing, scarification, anything like that, is even if you go all the way back to when people were very first tattooing themselves, what is the first thing that they did with anything that they used to like puncture ink into their skin? What did they do? What do, you guys? They put it in fire. They sanitize it with fire. That's what they do. If you go now to like one of those old fucking people that live in the mountains or whatever, you know, like the people that do like the very traditional, like old school, like fucking, like tribal tattoos and shit like that. Like I think there's one in like Malaysia or something like that. I don't know. They always sanitize those with flame. You always sanitize them with flame, right? Because they figured out if you just pick up something and stick it in somebody's skin, you're gonna fucking die. They figured that out pretty quick, actually. This person says that makes no sense at all. Love using a machine with LEDs above your head and putting it on reels is not disrespectful to anyone's ancestors. You're not getting Hep C or to not getting Hep C. And then Lexity says I cannot get Hep C alone in a van. You don't understand germ theory. Is germ theory what it? Am I stupid? Is she like an anti-vaxxer too? Germ theory proposes that specific microscopic organisms or germs can cause specific diseases. Oh, so that sounds like common sense. If I sneeze right in your fucking face, you're probably gonna get sick. That makes sense. Oh, got it. And I mean, you actually can get Hep C alone in a van if your needle is contaminated. You actually can do that, but okay. And then this person says laser removal surgery is gonna go crazy. Very true, bro. And then this person says, Lexity says, how much do you want to bet I know what I want more than you do? I bet $1 million. If you feel like paying me, I'll pay you back double when I get laser, since you are so sure. Whatever amount you want, and it's an open offer to anyone, but you won't because you just prefer to believe that I'm incapable of making decisions. Yeah, I don't, yeah. And if you want evidence right now that you should never like tattoo yourself or get shitty tattoos, I have a blackout sleeve because I did that. Okay, I have a blackout sleeve because I too was young and stupid. Okay, like good idea. And then everybody's saying that this is a manic episode. I would agree. Take a second to think. I agree. Hey, so are you having some kind of episode? Yes, we are. We are having a little blackout crash out episode. I think that we are. Also, if you're so scared, just get surgery with kitchen knives, pussy. Okay, and then we're spreading sexually dangerous information, okay? This information is wrong and harmful, and I encourage anybody watching this video to educate yourself and not listen to this garbage. Oral herpes can absolutely be transmitted to genitals through oral sex and vice versa. This is just true. This is true, okay? If you have cold sores and you have an outbreak of cold sores and you give someone oral sex, you can give them genital herpes. You can do that. That is just undeniably true. That is a fact. And then Lexity says, you are very wrong. I definitely encourage anyone and everyone to check. And then this person says both types of HSV can cause either oral or genital herpes, which means that someone with oral herpes caused by HSV1 can transmit the virus to the genital area during oral sex, resulting in genital herpes. Conversely, someone with genital herpes caused by HSV2 can transmit the virus onto mouth during oral sex, causing oral herpes. Please stop spreading harmful false information. And then Lexity says, find me case studies. What? what? This is like if this is the same thing, okay? If somebody says black people are faster than white people because they have an extra muscle in their leg, and you're like, what are you talking about? Black people don't have an extra muscle in their leg. Like they're human beings just like you are. Like they don't have an extra muscle, and you go source. And you're like, what do I even Google to find this? What do I even Google to disprove this claim? What do I even Google to look this up? How do I even begin to look at this? I don't even know how to begin to debunk this. Oh yeah? Well, when it's raining outside, the ground gets wet. Source? I'm going to need you to provide a source for that claim. What do you mean when it's raining, it gets wet outside? What are you talking about right now? I need a source for that. What? What, bro? How do I even look that up? How do I even begin? How do I even start? I don't know. I don't even know how to begin, you guys. Like, it's crazy. Okay, and then this person says, as you type this and have your phone in your hand, the internet, which can be accessed from your phone, is flooded with case studies. Find them yourselves and educate yourself. And then she lies and says, yes, I Googled it. All the medical literature agrees with me. This person says, if you want to stay blindly ignorant, that's fine, but why spread misinformation purposely? It's just not true. And then Lexi says, but it literally is true. The medical research agrees with me, and you just didn't check out or understand. And then this person posts the CDC website link, and then I'm sure that we don't read it because that's the end of the screenshots. That's pretty interesting. Okay, what's this one? And then she turned her comments onto followers only because she's probably tired of getting unsolicited
So
advice.
dogs are opportunistic omnivores, which means they eat pretty much any food they can get their hands on, including rotting fruit, and alcohol is naturally occurring in rotting fruit, which means dogs definitely are exposed to alcohol in the wild on a regular basis. They absolutely can consent to drinking alcohol, and
Yeah, this sounds like dog fucker logic to me. This sounds like dog fucker logic to me, but that's okay. What's this? She's live right now. She wants to get her dog an electric collar. She just now said this will probably get me canceled before saying she wants to get Artemis her bought puppy an electric collar to teach her that roads are bad for her. She also says that she wants to train herself to get an ESA certified to take her, quote, everywhere all the time. So let's listen to a little bit of this because I was privy to a little bit of this. This was interesting.
So here's the thing that I am considering, which is probably going to get me canceled, but specifically.
Also, if the dog walks into the street, the dog is consenting to get hit by a car, I think. The dog has agency, free will, and choice, and the dog is choosing to walk into the street. So I think that you should respect that choice, personally.
Specifically for teaching her that roads are bad and you don't get to walk in roads, I have actually been thinking about getting her an electric collar, because I can't think of another way to, like, humanely teach her.
Crazy, and this is gonna blow everybody's mind, okay? Positive reinforcement actually always works better than negative reinforcement. Just in case you were wondering, that always works better. So every time you call the dog to you and you give the dog a treat, that's going to work 1,000,000 times better than literally fucking tasing your dog every time it goes near the street. That's going to be a lot better. Positive reinforcement always works better, okay? There's a reason that when you take your dog to, like, dog school where it learns how to behave and shit like that they're not, like, punching your dog in the fucking head. They're not kicking the dog across the kennel every time it fucks up. They're rewarding the dog for being good. They're not, like, boxing the dog to death when it's bad, right? You reward the dog for being good. It learns to be good because it associates treats with behaving, okay? That's, like, that's quite literally, like, the only real true way to, like, train animals is positive reinforcement. That's literally how you train animals. You can also train people the same way, okay? Like, this is crazy. Who is Wreckers? Who is Lobos? Oh my god, who's BF Skinner? Like, who are they, guys? Oh my god.
That, like, this object is dangerous, and if you touch this object, you will get hurt, right? Like, I don't know. I don't even know if that'll be, like, the most effective way to teach her that, if that makes sense. But, you know.
No, it doesn't make sense. Somebody should save this dog, I think. Somebody should save this dog. And then she also was piercing her face on live. I don't know if this is it. No, it's over here.
Keeping her animals at a good temperature. I am training her. Like, the other reason, like, I wanted a puppy, is I'm gonna train her really, really, really well, and actually get her certified as a service dog. But also, like, I'm training her to heal, and I'm training her to like I'm training her really well, as much as I can, you know, so that I can actually bring her everywhere I go, all the time.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So she's doing at-home piercings here. I don't know if I can show this, but
Gotta be sanitary. Some people don't accuse me of mania even more than they're gonna. You know what I'm saying? No, we just go at it.
Also, yes, I did do this with dirty hands.
oh my god, did she do her fucking dermal?
Are they saying that? Yeah, I know, but that's okay. You're saying that.
Let me see this. Did she do her dermal?
But, like, I actually don't care.
Her dermal? Oh my god! That's like the worst thing that you could pierce at home! Dude! Oh my god! That's crazy! Dermal piercings are like a legit surgical procedure because they punch a hole in your face! Oh my god, dude. That's crazy. That's great. Because, right, it looks like right here, right? I don't know if I can zoom in at all, but it's like right here. And she didn't wash her hands. Oh my god. Dude, that's insane. I could understand like your nostril maybe, or even your lobes. Like if you pierced your earlobes at home, who didn't pierce their earlobes, you know, when they were like 11? Who didn't do that? A dermal? A dermal is where they like punch a hole in your fucking face.
S'ha donat $2 truc superchat. L'exitisapsis arc on.
Thank you for the $2 site. Yeah, I mean, we're going to learn about germ theory in real time, unfortunately, the hard way. Okay.
See, you're the one who's saying that because, like...
Okay, so, Marcy, there's there's several victims, if you will, people that have alleged either abuse or sexual misconduct, what have you. Marcella was somebody who Lexi stayed with for 3 days, and she got like really crazy, was like screaming at her, threatening her, posturing, etc., gaslighting, blah 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 blah. And then Marcy Buckmoon. Wow, let's go. Witness.
Who is this Calvin Garrard? Who is he?
Everybody witness Buckmoon. Thank you, Buckmoon, for the membership. Marcy is the one that was like went to go and meet up with Lexity, and then Lexity was like, get in the van, and she was like, what? She was like, we're going to the beach, and then she like groped her unconsensually and like touched her inappropriately without her consent. That's Marcy, okay? And Marcy is the one that was like forced into the van, okay? Into the van.
The way rumors work is if you spread a rumor, you actually are the one spreading the rumor at a certain point. But like...
Let's go to the beach. Nicki Minaj.
Yeah. You know. It's not true. Oh, I didn't, though.
Yes, an unsolicited honk. Thank you. Took the words right out of my mouth.
I didn't, though. And what, girl? And also, what am I, like, okay, like, be specific. If you're gonna accuse me of anything, like, literally be specific. Because what that girl said I did was go on a date with her, and then ask her if I could hug her, and then hug her. She grabbed my butt. I grabbed her boob, right around her. I didn't really, like, I mean, I did grab it, but, like, I just hugged her, and, like...
I grabbed her tits. Well, not really, but I did grab them, but kind of. It's hard to explain. I'm sorry, I shouldn't laugh. It's just like... Well, yeah, I did murder her. But I mean, not like that. Like, yes, I killed her, but let me explain. What? I didn't honk, but I did beep. That's basically what just happened.
Like, she was very small. She did grab my butt. I asked her if that was okay, also. She said it was okay, but she had a partner. And so she felt pressured because she was scared of me. But the thing is
yeah, I'd be kind of scared too if you were like, get in the van, Mamacita. Get in the fucking van, Mamacita. It's like, yeah, you can give me a honk. Please don't hurt me. Please don't pierce my dermal. Please, I'll do anything. Yes, you can honk them.
It's like, I didn't do anything scary. I asked for every single part of it. And there is a reason that bigotry against trans people is called transphobia. She felt scared of me because she's transphobic.
Guys, if you wouldn't get in the fucking asbestos fiberglass van, you're transphobic. You heard it here first. If you will not get into the rape van, you're transphobic. Get in the van, transphobes.
Because she saw me as a man or saw me as some scary
Oh my god.
And therefore...
To be fair, if there was like a cis woman that was this cooked, bro, I would also be afraid. I would also be like, oh, I don't know. I don't know about our Barbie beach adventure. I don't know about that one, queen.
Told me that the things I were doing was okay, even though she later regretted it. But, like, that's not the way that works. I asked. I genuinely tried as hard as possible to make her comfortable. And
I tried really hard to make the honking okay. This is hilarious to me. I can't. What else do we have on here?
so I've noticed that abusers have a tendency to shift.
Oh my god. Look at that. Oh my god. That's just gonna rot right off. Ooh. Ugh. Oh my god. She's gonna turn into like a zombie, dude. She's gonna turn into a zombie. Whoa.
The blame of their abuse off of themselves and onto the person they abuse by blaming them for being too emotional. And a lot of people fall for that.
Also, you can tell that the bridge is kind of irritated as well here.
Because people inherently have a bias towards distrusting more emotional people. They think it's immature or lacks composure. And the problem with
The thing is it's really hard, you guys, because you can't really teach social skills. It's kind of like a trial and error thing. You kind of just like learn it, right? Nobody can like teach you how to socialize. You just kind of like learn how to do it. Like you do it so often, you kind of pick up on what works and what doesn't. You know, you can't really like sit down and say, because there's not like a script for how socialization works, right? It just kind of depends on the person, the situation, your relationship to the person, blah, blah, blah. Like it's hard, okay? But people don't think that emotionality is immature. Emotionality tempers with age, and it tempers with experience. So it's normal for, like, if a 4-year-old loses their iPad, they're gonna flip the fuck out. This is like the worst thing that's ever happened to them, right? That emotionality is appropriate for their age, right? A 4-year-old, like, freaking the fuck out because their favorite thing is lost. That's normal. That's like a normal reaction for like a 4-year-old. You're like, you know, like 12, 13, you lose a game of Call of Duty after you're doing really good. Maybe you're like, God damn it! And you like kick something. You know, you're still learning how to temper your emotions. You're kind of learning healthy coping skills. It's not okay to like kick shit or whatever the fuck, but you're not like shocked that that's a response. Like that's kind of in line with like the development, right? If you have a 25-year-old that is rejected romantically or sexually, that puts their entire fucking face through the drywall, that emotionality is immature. If you throw a temper tantrum because you don't get your way, if somebody comments something negative on one of your Instagram posts and you spend an hour and a half crawling around in the dirt outside of your van like fucking Gollum, just screaming at the top of your fucking lungs because you cannot handle being criticized, that's immature, okay? I would expect, obviously, that with age and experience comes a temperament of your emotional reactivity. And once you hit a certain threshold, that behavior becomes embarrassing. That behavior becomes immature, right? That is when everybody starts to kind of be like, yeah, this is really fucking embarrassing. Because let's think about it this way. Let's say that you go to Applebee's, okay? It's, what is it, 2 for $25. It's 2 for $25. Okay, you are a parent. You take your 6-year-old kid with you to Applebee's. The kid drops something and is like, "Wah!" Normal. Nobody's like, oh my God. Well, I am, because I'm trying to eat my fucking 2 for $25 here. Can you tell your kid to shut the fuck up? But you know what I mean? Like, that's kind of normal. You're like, okay, Timmy, like, settle down, like, nobody's shocked. If you go to Applebee's for your 2 for $25 and your dollar margaritas, and your date, who is 25 years old, drops something on the floor and picks the table up and fucking throws it and is like, whoa! That's like, I'm calling the police, okay? That behavior is not acceptable. It's embarrassing. It's immature. It shows a lack of temperament. It shows that you are volatile. It shows that you are completely out of fucking control. You have no metric for what is a reasonable or irrational response. It should like raise like every red flag. You should be like in color guard, being like, with the flags, like, that's bad, okay? That's bad. Yes, this level of emotionality at your age is embarrassing, it's scary, and it's something that scares people away from you, right? Like, that's understandable and that's normal, okay? That is normal.
with that is that people often get upset when they've been abused, right? Someone taking advantage of you or neglecting your emotions repeatedly often makes people visibly upset. And someone being visibly upset isn't inherently abusive, right? Like someone being visibly angry or visibly sad around you.
It depends on how that manifests, Queen, because anger is not a bad emotion. Anger is just an emotion. It's neutral. How you react to that can be abusive. If I get really mad because my wife didn't make me dinner and I punch her in the face 6 times, probably not good. If I'm mad that my wife didn't make me dinner, but I sit down and I journal about it, and then after about 15 minutes I feel better, who cares? I'm driving in traffic. Somebody cuts me off. I get really fucking mad. And so I rear end them, drag them out of the car, and curb stomp on the side of the highway. Or somebody cuts me off and I'm like, bitch! And then I'm like, it's okay, it's fine. Not a big deal. Do we see the difference here? One of my actions can be really inappropriate, really aggressive, really violent, really abusive. The other is like, I'm just experiencing that emotion, I'm holding on to it, and then I'm letting it go, okay? Emotions are just visitors, you guys. Let them float through, all right? It's depending on what you do with the emotion. It's that reactivity that is a sign of poor judgment, foresight, integrity, and character, okay?
You isn't inherently abusive unless they're doing something manipulative or abusive. Just because you're intimidated or triggered or you have to empathize with the fact that they're hurt doesn't.
Diffusion is my favorite skill. Nobody knows diffusion. Let's go, Buckmoon. Witness. Everybody witness. That's my favorite skill. Witness. Personally, I don't think road rage is sexy, but that's just me.
Mean that they're
I actually get scared. When people road rage, I get scared because I'm like, everybody has guns now, you guys. You don't want to just start shit with random people.
manipulating you, right? That's just a normal part of human emotions and human interactions, right? People being.
Abuse is when people don't let me freak the fuck out. Very true.
So I've noticed that abusers have a tendency to shift the blame of their abuse off of themselves and onto the person they abuse by blaming them for being too emotional. And a lot of people fall for that because people inherently have a bias towards distrusting more.
Oh, sorry. I already watched this one. Dumb me. All right, those are all the updates that we have for Lexity. But so she's been crashing out pretty hard, you guys. She's been crashing out pretty hard. Again, like, I understand that not everybody has like the awareness to kind of notice these behaviors and why they're scary and why you should stay away from people like this, okay? Like, if you're 25 years old and you cannot temper your emotions, that's a fucking problem, okay? That is a fucking problem. If you can't have an appropriate reaction to something as a fully grown adult, there is a problem, okay? And you need to address that, and it's nobody else's problem but your own, okay? I just don't understand how people continually walk into the rake that is Lexity. I really don't understand it. It's very weird to me. It's very weird to me. Oh, I road rage really hard, but to myself. You know what I mean? Like, to myself. Like, I get cut off and I'm like, oh, you fucking bitch. And then I'm fine. That's really it. Like, I'm not going to, like, follow somebody home. That's weird. And that's scary. But will I yell in the car? Yeah, I certainly will. I certainly will. Yes, I will. I certainly will. I will yell in the car. I will yell in the car. However, I would, I don't know. I think that I would go for somebody who was going, like, 45 in the left lane. I think I would go for that. I think that my most radical take is that going under the speed limit in the left lane should be an offense punishable by death. That's what I believe. So I think that, like, whoever implements that as policy, I will vote for. I will vote for whoever decides that. If you are going under the speed limit in the left lane, that is an offense that is punishable by death. You'll be executed by the state without due process. It will be you get pulled over and they put you down right there, okay? Because that's it for me, okay? That's really it. That's really the thing that just kind of puts me over the edge. And for everybody who is tone deaf, I'm joking. I don't think that we should kill people literally that drive slow in the left lane. But it is something that really bothers me. Okay, just for my my neurodivergent girlies, I don't truly believe that we should be killing people. It's a hyperbolic statement to elicit a humor response and make you chuckle. That's what that was. Just so you know. Just so you know, because apparently some people can't tell that I'm joking. So I'll clarify that for you guys. For my silly, goofy girls, I'll clarify that for you guys. Because I love autistic people, you guys. I love the autistics. Love them. They're great. I think they're fantastic. You're welcome. I just want to make sure we're all on the same page, guys. I just want to make sure we're all on the same page. Shot callers for people who don't know the left lane is the fast lane. Thank you. Oh, hello, Jaden. How are you? I'm glad to see you, bud. Sorry. Mage, what is good? We were just catching up on Lexi, and then we're going to do something else next. Let's see. Where's my little thing? Where's my little thingy? Okay, I put the poll up for you guys. You guys choose whatever sparks joy for you for what we're doing next. Okay, whatever is doing next. The speed limit, is the speed limit enough? No, the left lane is for at the very least 10 miles per hour over the speed limit. At the very least. If the speed limit is 60, if you are not going 70 in the left lane, get the fuck out of the way. Okay, get the fuck out of that lane. It is for 10 over or get the fuck out of my way. That's what it's there for, okay? That's what it's there for, all right? And even then, some stretches, we're going 20 over, 25, okay? I'm just kidding. Don't do that, guys. Don't speed. It's very unsafe. Don't ever speed. But if you are going less than 10 miles per hour over the speed limit and you are in the left lane, I think that you should be in prison for at least 10 years. That's what I think, yeah. Yeah, fuck drunk drivers, very true. Yeah, that was me. I totally ran you off the road. I'm a very aggressive driver. Later, fake kiddo. Have a good one. I know she never wins. I know it's because everybody hates her. Left lane is the passing lane. If you're not gonna pass the right lane, get the fuck out. Yeah. Payman, if you go back, I do a TLDR at the beginning of the video. What? There's 150 viewers and only 55 likes. I must verify this. Trust but verify. Let's see here. What the frick? What the frick? Oh my god, there are 100 freeloading bitches in the chat right now. All of you are slow left lane drivers. I just know it. If you haven't liked the video, you drive slow in the left lane and therefore are an enemy of the state and ontologically evil. And any bad deed or anything done against you can be morally justified. So you better like that video. If you won't drive fast in the left lane, you better at least like the video, okay? I don't drive, but the left lane is for crime. Exactly, thank you. People that believe anything less than 20. You guys are so true. So true, guys. So true. Sergio's a snitch. Well, then you should have liked the stream. Like the stream or you get the shock collar. I don't drive at all, Malcolm, because everyone is scared of my driving. That's great. That's good, though. Well, Rat Bastard, I'm glad that you rectified your wrongdoing. Very good. Yeah, I'm just saying, guys, if you drive slow in the left lane, I hate you. If there's one thing, if you take one thing from me, if there is one thing that I can do to tangibly impact and change your life in a positive way, it's get the fuck out of the left lane, okay? If you are driving and you are not acutely aware that somebody is behind you and needs to get around you and you're in the left lane, I hate you. I hate you. You might think we have this parasocial relationship. You might think that we're besties in your head. We're not. We're not. If you drive slow in the left lane, I hate you, okay? And I want you to stub your toe or something, okay? That's what I want. I fucking hate you if you're one of those people. ACAB includes people that drive slow in the left lane. Write that down, okay? Write that down. Can I like the stream if I smoke indoors? I suppose. I drive in the left lane below the speed limit. Guards! Guards! I want to, like, get a sign that I can, like, stick out of my window that says, get the fuck out of the left lane. Like, just, like, roll down my window and, like, stick it out. That's what I want to do. Because, like, wow, I fucking hate you. I hate you. But the left lane is where I comment on your videos. Me and my best friend Malcolm driving slow in the left lane. You guys are evil. You guys are evil. Okay, I'm going to the bathroom. I'm getting another Michelob Ultra Zero. Or maybe I'll have a Corona. Maybe I'll have a Corona. Ugh, I don't know. Choices, guys. Choices, guys.
Sergio Campos, cert. Donatet $2 truc superchat. Much for the option?
Much for a DG option. We're gonna do that. We're gonna do that next week. Because next week we're having Ultra Mega Girl time on Wednesday. I'm going to stream like all fucking day. So we'll do that next week. I pinky promise. You have been very patient with me. I really appreciate it. You've been very patient with me, so I appreciate that. We'll do that next week. I am on the wagon. It's non-alcoholic. It's C0 0. There's no alcohol. It just tastes like beer. Okay. I am on the wagon. All right. I'm behaving. It's 0. And again, 6.5 grams of protein, you guys. Get those gains. All right. I will be right back, guys. I'm putting on your Minecraft videos. I'm putting those on for you. I'm putting on your music. Don't unlock the door for anybody who's not me. I'll be right back, and then we will move onward, okay? Oh my god, gamer moment. Sorry. Never mind.
State of mind, we breaking. In the night we ride, no fear inside. State of mind, we breaking. In the night we ride, no fear inside. State of mind, we breaking. Yo, we thuggin', never gonna stop. 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 Yo, we thuggin', never gonna stop.
All right, I'm back. I'm back. I have returned. As promised. It's okay, guys. I fixed it. Nobody stress. I fixed it. I fixed it. I fixed it. All right. Let's see. Let's see. What is popping, guys? All right. You guys want to do the adolescence? All right. All right. What? Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. Out. Oh, don't worry. We'll yap later. Don't worry. Don't worry. Worry not. Okay. There's no leadhead stuff right now, guys. There's no leadhead stuff. Excuse me. We haven't got any leadhead updates. Yeah, we've got no leadhead updates, guys. I'm sorry. Maybe soon. Maybe soon. We'll have to see. We'll have to wait and see. Okay. Do that over. Oh, the blonde one? I don't remember. Which one's the blonde one? Lexity? We did Lexity earlier. If anyone can get me the fucking video, I'll watch it. It's Op Block has the video, it's just unlisted. So if anybody can get me the Op Block video, I'll watch it. Because there is another jar call. There is another jar call. So if anybody can get me that Op Block video, I'll watch it. But I don't want to watch somebody else react to it. You know what I mean? We don't need a reactception around here. We don't need that. We don't need that. We don't need that. So, I don't know if... Hello. Bro, is this a fucking members only video now? Are you fucking kidding me? Oh, there we go. Okay, I got it. I fixed it. We're good. I fixed it. We're fine. I fixed it. Okay, we're good. So I don't know. I'm not in the Discord. So if somebody can get the VOD for me, we'll do that next week too. We'll do that one next week too. We're getting ample girl time next week. Ample girl time next week. So worry not, guys. Worry not, guys. We have lots and lots and lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of girl time next week. Stress not. You have the link. Will you DM it to me or put it in stream chat and Discord? Thank you so much. Everybody witness Tusky. Good job, guys. Okay, so not so erudite. This is not so erudite. Not so erudite is she does like pop psychology content, I guess. She does like a lot of like MRA shit, I guess you could call it. She talks a lot about men's issues, this, that, and whatever the fuck, you know, that's kind of like her thing. She's Destiny's like #1 dick rider, following the allegations that came out against Destiny. But either way, she has a bachelor's degree in I think it's psychology, and then she also worked as a psychometrist, which is somebody who administers psychological tests. So if you've ever done like an IQ test, if you've ever done any kind of assessment, so like I'm trying to think of a few off the top of my head that require a psychometrist. I know or a psychometrician. It's kind of like how optometrist and ophthalmologist are like two different things, but everybody just says optometrist, even though somebody might actually be an ophthalmologist. It's like one of those things. One of them makes psychological tests, the other one administers psychological tests. So she has a BA, and then she has a graduate certificate in psychological assessment. So she doesn't have like a master's degree or anything like that, but she does have a graduate diploma in administering psychological tests. And so something that's just something that she relies heavy on is her experience and kind of her background, like working in the field. She also did substance use disorder, SUD therapy as well, and then I want to say that she also did Christian counseling as well. So she's got a little bit of all that stuff going on, but she doesn't have a master's degree. It's a graduate certificate program. It's like you do like a training, and you basically they say that you're allowed to do these kinds of things. It's not a master's level program or anything like that, but she talks a lot about psychology, and she talks a lot about men's issues and blah, 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 that kind of stuff. Very, I don't know, very disillusioned to the plight of men, unfortunately, but she lives to talk about it. Also, something to kind of like lay the groundwork here. Adolescence is a show on Netflix. It's a limited series that came out. Everybody was mad. Apparently, it's based on a real life case, and in the real life case, the person that's a murderer was actually like a black immigrant, but they race swapped the character. So everybody was like, "Oh my god, they're hating white people, or they're trying to get like white people in trouble." You know, it's the anti-white woke shit or whatever. I don't know. I don't know anything about the in real life case, but basically, if you don't want spoilers, there's going to be spoilers not only in this video, and then also the synopsis that I'm about to give you. So, basically, Adolescence is a show, and it follows this young guy. His name is Jamie in the show. He's 13 in the show, and Jamie killed his female classmate. And he killed his female classmate because he was like into the red pill manosphere shit, basically. This girl was calling him an incel. She was saying, you know, that he's ugly. They talk a lot about the 80-20 split. The 80-20 split is basically the idea that 80% of women are only attracted to 20% of men, and everybody else has to all go fuck themselves, right? Like only like the buff, Chad, alphas are the ones that are getting girls. Everybody else is fucked. It's nature. You know, it's just like how women are. And stuff like that. And so she's talking specifically about episode 3 of Adolescence. And in the third episode, a psychologist, like a court evaluator, goes in basically to interview the kid. And the person who's interviewing him happens to be a woman. And so you see a lot of different things in that episode. And by the way that the show is filmed is absolutely fucking beautiful. It's filmed in one continuous shot. There are no cuts in any of the episodes. It's filmed so well. So well. Okay, I recommend. But anyway, so while he's being evaluated by this evaluator, the evaluator is asking him all these questions about, like, how do you feel about women? Like, tell me about your dad. Like, what do you think of your dad? Like, what do you think makes your dad like a man? Like, what does it mean to be a man? Tell me about masculinity. Like, how do you feel when other people degrade you in your masculinity? How do you feel when women do that specifically? And you see a lot of, like, how do I explain this? A lot of the misogyny is just like coming off of this kid in the way that he talks, the way that he tries to posture, the way that he like is engaging in property destruction to try and control the situation. You know, he talks about how this girl was getting picked on essentially for being a whore because she, like, pictures of her boobs like went around or whatever the fuck. And he was like, well, everybody thought she was a whore, so I asked her out because I thought because nobody else would fuck her that maybe she would want to date me. And so the court evaluator is like, okay, so your logic here is that her standards were low enough that she would go for you. So it's really, really good. It's a really, really good episode, and the show itself is really good. So this is what we're talking about. And mind you, again, Not So Erudite has experience, or has at the very least worked in the field of psychology, has a degree in psychology. So you should be expecting really good big brain takes from Not So Erudite, but I have really bad news, you guys. I feel like that's not going to be the case. And I have not pre-watched. I made DZ watch this before me. So so let's just see how we're going to go. Okay, guys?
To be clear, kind of the premise of everything that we have to talk about is a big spoiler for the show. So if you don't want spoilers, I tell you now, spoiler, don't watch this. I will be.
How old is she? She's in her 30s, right? I think she's like 30 something, isn't she? I'm not quite sure. I think that she's like 30 something. So I would say at the very least 6 years. At the very least 6 years, I would say. I'm not sure. Decent amount. I know that she did SUD counseling and then psychological testing, and then she did Christian therapy for a while too. So
I'll be clear though, the acting in this show is so good. So good. The cinematography, so good. Leila, episode 3 is the best one. I don't think episode 3 was like all bad. I think there were some really good parts, like especially the boys wrestling. But I was very underwhelmed by the way that they wrote the psychologist, I think specifically. Is the show based or is it not based?
Also, I just want to say really quickly, the way that the show is written is actually really fucking good. That's actually pretty ideally exactly the kind of shit that you want from court evaluators. That's actually exactly how you want court evaluators to behave in interviews and assessment. But yeah. Nonetheless, let's keep going.
I think a lot of incel people that are angry over the race stuff is just kind of cringe. I just don't think that that's like the important part of the story, right? I think, for example, changing the race of like certain like fantasy characters can sometimes be meaningful and sometimes not. So is the show portraying boys primarily as victims or as the perpetrators? The show is showing both. If I'm being honest, my read of the show is that while the perpetrator is the young boy who's being bullied about manosphere stuff and does seem to have some more sexist views of women, but not like egregiously sexist. I would say really standard sexist, like especially working class sexist perspective.
No, because he kills her. He kills someone for rejecting him. I would not say that that's standard sexism. I would say that's pretty extreme sexism. And then also the way that he engages with the court evaluator demonstrates a really sophisticated level of sexism where posturing, physical aggression, and violence, especially towards an adult for a juvenile, is something that is like very sophisticated in the realm of sexism, right? There's a difference between a kid that might be a little bit sexist that doesn't listen as well to like a female teacher than they do a male teacher, but for a young male to posture aggressively towards an adult female, especially one in a position of authority over them, is pretty sophisticated sexism. That is pretty indicative of very, very, very much really aggressive misogynistic tendencies, especially, again, considering that in the show, he fucking kills the girl for rejecting him. He kills her. He stabs her to death. I would say that that's pretty fucking sexist. I don't know many blue-collar men who kill women. The working class view of sexism is like, make me a sandwich. You know, I work all day. My wife stays at home. My wife takes care of the house. My wife takes care of the kids. My wife, you know, does housekeeping, like quote unquote womanly duties. And then I go and I work all day. Or even like women can't do certain forms of manual labor, or even, you know, women are not as strong as men. Women can't be in positions of, you know, like either authority or like really physically demanding laborious positions. That's like working class sexism. And you could even say that like sexist jokes, even like get back in the kitchen, woman, or something like that. Like that's blue collar sexism, where it's, and you even see, like, the thing is like there, even when you have women that work in predominantly male fields, like think welding, kitchens, construction, anything like that, women that work in those fields, the kind of sexism that they get is subtle. It's very muted, right? They're not like, you're a dumb bitch, like you're a woman, like shut the fuck up. It's kind of like, oh, that's a really great point, I guess, but I think we're gonna go with what Greg said. But Greg said the same thing. It's very subtle. It's not direct. It's not aggressive, and it's not violent. Like that is not the kind of sexism or misogyny that you see in blue collar fields. This is like a very extreme form of misogyny and sexism, especially if you consider the age difference here between a 13-year-old and an adult court evaluator, and that he immediately postures with violence, and he does not see any kind of disparagement between his physical like dominance being 13 versus an adult woman who is in a position of authority over him. So yeah.
So like just really standard. But I'm saying that that's good before anyone freaking out, being like, it's not a good thing. I'm just saying this is what we should expect. I don't know if I'd be willing to like start flinging the word like incel at a 13-year-old boy, right? So
well, and so the other thing here that we fail to understand is that incel is more of like a philosophy, and it's not necessarily like, because I think that it's a fair assumption that 13-year-olds are celibate. I think that's a fair assumption, okay? But it's more so like the idea that incel as a colloquial term is just kind of blanketly used to attack men who are unable to get attention from women, whether it be social, sexual, or romantic, right? Like, girls don't like you, you're a freak. It's really weird that you haven't had a date. It's really weird that you've never had your first kiss, things like that. And that is the colloquial usage of an incel, right? Because there are certainly men who have had sex, men that can get sex, and men that are in intimate relationships, but can still colloquially be referred to as incels because they are rizzless, they don't have style, they don't have any kind of social skills, they're pretty awkward, they're kind of weird. Like, colloquially speaking, and the way that incel is used is it's used also to describe men who do have sexual experiences. Actual Jake is a really good fucking example of this. Actual Jake is like a textbook fucking walking example of an incel, but he's married. I think that incel still applies to him because he has that energy and that aura. You know what I mean? Incel is the new Discord moderator. Like, that's the new insult, right? And especially with young people often will use insults without even really truly understanding what they mean, right? Like, they hear adults use this language and then they reiterate this language. So this is one of the things that's concerning with young men, specifically that get indoctrinated into the red pill manosphere space, is that it is normal for, 13-year-olds, 12, 13, 14-year-olds to be celibate because they're not sexually active. That's normal. So it would say, why would it bother them that they're being called incels? Because obviously they're not engaging in sexual activity. It's because it's an archetype, right? It's an archetype of man who cannot get the attention of women in any positive kind of way. Okay, and again, that can be social, that can be sexual, that can be romantic. It's just a guy or a boy or a man that is unable to get attention or positive engagement from women. That's what that means. That's the colloquial usage of the word. Because if we're saying like this is the literal definition of an incel, obviously this doesn't fucking apply. And it's interesting, like, did she even watch the show? Because I think it's in like the first or the second, I think it's the second episode actually. I think it's the second episode. The cop specifically, like they bring up the red pill incel shit to the cop. And the cop is like, what the fuck do you mean an incel? He's 13. Of course he's celibate. He's 13. What 13-year-old is not celibate? And it's the archetype. It's the predictive factor, right? You're 13, you're weird, you're kind of freaking the girls out. They don't really want to talk to you. Maybe you don't have any friends. Maybe you're kind of weird. You got weird hobbies or interests. You're going to be single forever. You're going to die a virgin. No girl is ever going to want to hang out with you or spend time with you. There's a reason none of the girls want to go to, the homecoming dance with you. It's because you're an incel. It's an archetype. It isn't always directly correlated to your ability to have sexual interactions with women. It's about the lack of affection and positive interaction that you get from women, right?
While he is the perpetrator, the whole story is analyzing him and his family and his brain to understand like what led him to doing this crime. There's actually very, very little time spent on the girl, probably for twofold. Number one, her bullying this boy doesn't justify him murdering her. Obviously, right? This is obvious.
True. This is a strong message. I completely agree. You shouldn't kill people that bully you. I completely agree.
There is no amount of bullying that suddenly makes physically assaulting and killing another person okay. This is obvious. Probably don't need to murder bad, okay?
And you're not wrong, Don't Smoke in Bed. They also address that as well, where the female investigator says specifically, she's like, this really frustrates me because people know his name. They know him. They're going to be talking about him. Everybody forgets about the girl. Like, even when a woman is the victim of a violent attack, a murder, an assault, a rape, anything like that, the focus is on the man. And that's what's frustrating, is that we're spending all this time, talking to him, trying to understand his psychology, understand his mind. But we have it on video. He fucking killed her. I don't know why we're wasting our time. We might not even ever understand why he did it, and why should it matter? He did it, and that's where it should stop. And I mean, they address all this in the show. So I think it was DZ. I agree. I don't think that she actually watched the fucking show.
But what's interesting is trying to like get into the head of this kid and why he felt enough rage that he snapped and did this behavior. So here's episode 3.
I didn't like that bite. You guys see that bite? That was scary.
Head of this kid and why he felt enough rage that he snapped and did this behavior. So here's episode 3.
That's why he died. Jesus Christ. Sorry. My bad.
He's being interviewed by a forensic psychologist who's doing an independent review, basically of his psychology. She's trying to understand who he is and how he thinks, which I think is a really, really cool premise for a third episode.
It's not even, that can be part of it. So the one thing that a lot of people like fail to understand is that you don't need motive. If you have tangible evidence that somebody did something, you don't need a motive. That's more to like satiate people's, desire to want to understand, and then also build a narrative for a jury trial, right? If I am caught on video killing someone, my motives are not really even called into question. If it's clear cut, there was no self-defense, I didn't act in self-defense. In the show, they show that he was following her around town for, a few hours before he did this. There was no physical violence from her side. He just fucking killed her. It's all on video. The whole thing is there. The motive isn't really a needed component, okay? That isn't really a needed component for this to be a case, okay? The other thing that is important is that court evaluators do not give evaluations to determine like this, that, and the other thing. Court evaluators are there to demonstrate if somebody is competent and culpable for their actions. Okay, that's the purpose of a court evaluator. If you have someone who is acting in a way that's kind of off, kind of odd, kind of strange, you have a 13-year-old boy who stabs a girl to death for apparently no fucking reason. The reason that you would employ a court evaluator or a court psychologist is to evaluate if they were in the right mind state and if there were any mitigating factors that might diminish their ability to understand what they were doing was wrong, right? That's the purpose of a court evaluator. So by understanding that there is a logic, a rationale, and rules to whatever this person chooses to do demonstrates competency, right? So if I commit a crime and I say, the people in the walls told me that if I didn't rob this liquor store at gunpoint and kill the owner, that the demons were going to crawl up from hell, pry my floorboards apart, crawl into my kneecaps, in my body, out my mouth, and then kill my entire fucking family. I had to do it. You don't understand. I had to save my family. They're going to be like, okay, so there's something else going on here. I don't even know if you knew what you were doing, right? Or if you have somebody who has diminished capacity for understanding right and wrong. You see a lot of this with, oh God, what's the word that I'm looking for? It's not nepotism. It's what's that word? There's a word that means like when people are so rich they don't know what's right and wrong. It happened with that guy that was drunk driving, and he was like, I think he was like 18. He was super fucking drunk. He got in a car accident. He killed like 6 people, and they let him off because he was rich. And he was like, I didn't know that you can do affluenza. Thank you. Affluenza. Thank you. Where like if you can demonstrate that somebody does not know that something is wrong. So for example, you have somebody who has either diminished mental capacity or they don't know the law, and you can prove that they truly did not know that something was right or wrong. Okay, that's diminished capacity. They didn't know, and so we're going to take that into consideration, right? Like if you like the affluenza teen was one of the ones that I thought was kind of fucked up. But if you have somebody who just doesn't, they're like, oh, I'm actually really sorry. I didn't know that I couldn't have a gun with me if I went into this store. Like, I wasn't trying to do anything. I just did not know that I could not carry a weapon in this area. I'm very sorry. That's taken into consideration, right? Your ability to be able to identify right from wrong is something that is taken into consideration with the court evaluation process. It's mostly, almost exclusively used to determine competency. And by demonstrating, by interviewing this kid, that 1, he knew what he was doing was wrong. 2, that he had a justification in his mind to evaluate this is the right choice to make, weighing that against something that is wrong, and then understanding the psychology behind how this, like, basically manifested in his head as a reasonable thing to do, demonstrates competency, right? That's what this is doing, right? It's not necessarily to understand motive, and obviously this is for dramatic effect. This is a TV show, so part of it is probably so the audience can kind of understand, like, oh, that's why he did it, or I completely understand. Like, we have to remember this is a TV show, right? So there is going to be some component that doesn't entirely map onto a real process of a real court evaluation to determine competency in an individual. However, court evaluators are not there to determine motive, to determine guilt, to determine any of that. They are there to determine competency to stand trial. Does this person understand right from wrong? Was this person understanding reason, ration, right and wrong in the moment of committing the crime? Yes or no? That's what is the purpose of competency, right? Exactly. You need to be able to prove competence to stand trial and understand what he's being tried for as well, right? Like, you have to be able to demonstrate that this person knows what they did in order to punish them appropriately for whatever they did, right? So, I'm kind of being pedantic as fuck, I'm sorry.
And it's 50 minutes, it's very long, but we'll see why Brain Pilot thinks that it's perfect. And maybe they'll convince me.
Is she going to watch this whole episode on stream? Is this not copyright?
Netflix's latest releases, and
oh,
it's one
never
of
mind.
those talk shows that's
safe.
out there at the moment. It jumped straight to #1 in the Netflix charts, and it provided a lot of talking points around the subject matter of the show with regards to incel.
It doesn't really say Buck Moon, and it's like a Netflix dramatization, so I don't even know. And it's in the United Kingdom, so I don't even know about the legal process in the United Kingdom. I don't know what it means to try somebody as an adult or as a juvenile. At least in the United States, that's going to depend on the severity of the crime and then, of course, competency, right? Because if you have somebody who is 15 years old who commits like a very egregious action and they're competent in themselves, they were aware that what they were doing was wrong, but they did it anyway, they can be tried as an adult, okay? So I don't know anything about the legal system in the United Kingdom, so I'm not sure. I would ask a Brit Bonger about that.
Cell culture, toxic masculinity, and the impact that your child being a murderer can have on the family. But also, there's been conversations about the way that this show was constructed, with Philip Barantini at the wheel with his signature single-take shot setting the tone, pace, and rhythm for this extremely interesting and dark show. Within the 4 episodes, there was one episode in particular that stood out to me, and it was the 3rd installment. An installment where there were only 4 characters that featured, and the intensity of a character profile being built for pre-sentencing was what the intention of it was. From phenomenal performances to an incredible use of sound.
She did do, I would agree with you on that, Layla, yeah. In fact, I think I should be more clear. I think the portrayal of the psychologist was almost perfect, except for in 2 ways that I think only served to take away from her character, which I'll get into. Otherwise, I think that her character portrayal was really strong. I think she showed enough like rapport building and empathy.
Oh, I love strong women, yes.
While also making enough space for it to just be about him. There's just 2 things that I thought were disappointing to see written in.
To an ending that then left me in complete shock and feeling like all emotions had been drained from me. I wanted to discuss why this episode was simply perfect and explain why it's worthy of all of the praise.
Also, all the actors and actresses, I just want to say again, incredible. Her acting, incredible. The boys acting, incredible, incredible, incredible. Amazing acting. 50 minutes straight of just really...
Oh, yeah, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. It's kind of slow. If you're wanting like a lot of action, I wouldn't watch this show. It's kind of slow if you like kind of like the psychological-esque stuff. But yeah, I mean, I liked it. It was pretty good.
Powerful and subtle acting. I love subtle acting. She's a really brilliant subtle actress too.
That it's been getting. So let's get into it. Here is why Adolescence episode 3 is perfect. Just to let you know, this video will contain a character that was at the center of this episode, and Erin Doherty delivered a phenomenal performance from start to finish. To be honest, I'd just come off the back of watching 1,000 Blows, and I half expected her to sound like a character that came from the East End, but instead she sounded very posh and proper. So in seeing that range,
it's posh, asshole.
Instantly made me feel like we were in for one hell of a performance. Erin Doherty, like Owen Cooper, went through a range of emotions in this episode with their character, but it was only at the end of it where we saw that her mask was let down and the emotional weight and turmoil of everything that she'd been through in just needing to be in a room with a killer, Jamie, got the better of her.
Well, and this is the pathology of what you want from a very, very good court evaluator. You want somebody who's completely able to detach and be non-reactive. Because if you look at any kind of pathology related to criminality, especially with violent crimes, how do people get out of that? How do people get out of any kind of situation that they don't want to be in? They're aggressive, right? How do you get people to back the fuck up off you? You're aggressive. You threaten, you posture, right? How do you get out of a conversation that you don't want to have? You crash out, you break things, you yell. People with violent tendencies are looking for a reaction to their outbursts in order to get whatever discomfort they're experiencing to stop, right? So this is actually the exact temperament that you want to see from somebody who is a good evaluator, somebody who is not reactive in any kind of way. It is able to move like right past that, right? There's a part in there specifically where there's two different crash outs where he gets really fucking mad, and it's almost performative, which is what you can kind of see from people who are trying to get out of things, right? When they're trying to get out of accountability, when they're uncomfortable, they might be explosive to try and get out of that, because if I freak out enough, everybody's going to leave me alone, right? So there's two scenes specifically where he does that. After the second one, he's sitting there and she's asking him these questions and he's obviously getting uncomfortable. And so he starts saying, "Why are you scared of a 13-year-old? Isn't that kind of fucking embarrassing that you're scared of a 13-year-old? And she just keeps going. She doesn't acknowledge it. She doesn't engage with it. She doesn't react to it. She's not like, "Oh my God, I'm so scared." That's the exact kind of disposition and temperament that you need if this is the kind of job that you want to do. Because when people act like that, when people are explosive, what they want is a reaction and they want an escape, right? Because you don't say things to people to upset them just for fun. You say it because that reaction is reinforcing to you. If I make somebody mad and they react, that reinforces that I got what I want. I poked a nerve, right? I upset you. I got you to freak out. I'm in control. I dictate your emotions if I can get a reaction out of you, right? So I'm curious what she's going to say, but this is actually the exact kind of temperament that you want for somebody who is doing evaluations for people, especially violent criminals, right?
And she could finally release it all and let out what felt like the largest of metaphorical exhales. When looking at the start of the episode, she was smiley, friendly, and went out of her way to make Jamie feel comfortable in getting him his hot chocolate with marshmallows, even joking with him about their regional differences when it came to slices of bread and their backgrounds. But by the end of it, after she'd been intimidated not once, but twice, her whole demeanor was different, and we saw a more closed-off, stare-you-down approach, which ultimately...
Well, because, and again, this is something that will go into this as well, is that rapport building in very short bursts only goes so far. Okay, especially if you're there to have like a very serious, very direct like conversation with somebody, that rapport building only does so much. Because you have what, like 15 minutes to bullshit with somebody, and then it's like, okay, let's talk about how you cut this girl's head off. Let's talk about it. The tone's gonna shift. And I dislike the framing. I dislike the framing that it's, at first she was like pally and blah blah blah, and then she got really scared and she like shut down. It's like, no, she understood that approach wasn't working, right? She was like, obviously the friendly banter, the tee-hee-hees isn't going to do anything here, okay? We're exhibiting a lot of this stuff to kind of weasel around a lot of the questions, so let's switch gears and be more direct, right? I don't like the framing of that.
Allowed the character to get what she wanted in being able to profile Jamie. Doherty's performance was extremely intense due to the nature of the character that she was playing, but despite that intensity, there was confidence, believability, sympathy, and fear in knowing that she had to sit across from an evil human being like Jamie with the unpredictable nature that he had.
Oh. She's gonna be like, oh my God, he's not evil, he just murdered a girl for jelly.
The evil human being that is Jamie. Yikes. This is actually really tied to my A very unpopular take, surprisingly. It's really comforting and easy, I think, to label an individual as evil. To be clear, the action that he did is unquestionably evil, right? The character murdered a girl. That's really bad. Just in case everyone's wondering, that is an evil action.
It's bad. What do you want me to say?
But I often feel frustrated in a really deep sense about how it's very easy to characterize people who do really bad things as evil in a way to shield ourselves from trying to understand the terrifying psychological similarities that we have to people who do really bad things. And this, like, to me, is really driven home. This is something that we talk about in psychology, and I'm coming from a psych perspective on this time and time again.
Tell me
right?
about it.
This is the Milgram's test. This is, if you don't know what the Milgram's test is, it's basically where they could get normal average citizens to deliver what was labeled as like killing levels of electrical volts to somebody who was just failing a test in another room because they were asked to do so, right? I think it's really, really important to understand the banality of how often evil occurs, right? Especially in a crime like this. This is a crime of passion, right? He gets really angry. He's a very angry young boy. I think one of the things that this episode highlights super well that we haven't really known yet is how angry and kind of explosively angry Jamie is, right? It highlights it being like, oh, this is a boy that I could see doing violence against a girl. Like, I can see it because he keeps on being explosively angry.
It's not a test, it's an experiment. Yeah. Let's keep going.
And at the same time, while what he did was an evil action, unquestionably, when we label this person as just evil, we now are no longer required to psychologically understand that individual whatsoever.
The thing is like, I don't buy this bullshit that there's so much intuition pumping that goes into this, right? Where it's like, how could you possibly understand? How could you ever fathom doing this? You la. Like, I don't think that's true at all. I think that people, generally speaking, like, outside of like really crazy shit, like I'm talking like Jeffrey Dahmer eating people, that one is inescapable to me. I'm like, I don't know about that one, dude. But like, you can look at people that do fucked up things and be like, oh, like, I don't agree with it, but I totally understand that. Like, if you have somebody who's in like an extreme domestic violence situation and they kill their abusive partner, you're not like, oh my god, how could this happen? Oh, it's a real head scratcher. It really makes you think. It's like, obviously she was tired of getting hit in the fucking face. 1, 2, 3, okay? Or even when people look like back in history, like at really dark periods in history, okay? I truthfully don't think that there's like this huge leap in logic that people learn or they're taught or they're indoctrinated into believing things that are really fucked up, and they think that it puts them in a position of superiority over others, and that feels good, therefore they do it. Like, I don't think that that's this mind bretzel, like, fucking ayahuasca trip to, like, understand that, like, yes, in certain circumstances, you might do shit that you otherwise never would do. In the right circumstances, with the right environment, with the right set of factors, it's like, yeah, you could do something really fucking crazy, totally. I don't know, maybe this is just me, but I don't think that this is, like, super fucking far out there. This isn't like, well, I really need to think about that one. It's like, I don't know literally, I don't know what to say. Like, I completely understand why people voted for Donald Trump. I understand why. I'm not like, wow, how did this happen? I get it. I get it. Everybody was like, he's funny. He's hilarious. He mews very well. He does. He knows how to smize. Slay. He wants to fix the economy. Everybody's worried about the economy. He wants to fix immigration. Everybody's freaking the fuck out about immigration right now. He loves to talk shit. He says that he's going to do this. He says that he's going to do that. He's disliked by politicians. That's really appealing to people. They're like, oh my god, there's a reason that people don't like him. It's because he tells it how it is. Like, obviously, if you spend more than like 5 minutes thinking about these things critically, in my opinion, you're kind of like, well, this is kind of bullshit. Like, just look at the price of eggs. However, I'm not an idiot. I understand why this is appealing to people. And I don't have to do like a lot of legwork to understand why certain people believe certain things. Like, maybe this is like a dumb people thing. I don't know.
Or to confront the parts of us that if just enough wrong steps occur in our lives, we could be in that same position. This is also a concept in restorative justice. Yes, if you believe in rehabilitative justice or restorative justice, you basically can't really label most people evil. I would be willing to grant that true-born psychopaths are probably the only people that I'd be comfortable categorically labeling as evil. Right? Because there's nothing that...
You heard it here, guys. Hitler, not evil. Can you understand why Hitler did what he did? Everybody sit down. Everybody sit down, crisscross applesauce. Let's think about reasons why Hitler was evil. This is the plot of Wicked. Like, I don't care. I'm going to say that Hitler was evil. I don't care. I don't care. Okay, I think that an evil person is like, I know how to fix the economy. Let's kill 11 million people. Like, I think that that's evil. Like, I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say.
That can compel them to stop doing bad things, except for like self-interest. But that's only because we don't have the technology or knowledge enough to fix that. I imagine that there's probably a brain thing going on with psychopaths that if like could be corrected or offset, I would feel differently about that person being evil. I just think functionally I treat psychopaths like, particularly like violent prone psychopaths as like true evil, right? Because rehabilitative justice doesn't work for them whatsoever. There's a Joker in all of us, just one bad. Well, the important part of like the Milgram experiment, because it came out of Nazi Germany, is just to understand that there is a Nazi in all.
Have you taken one psychology class? What do they assault you with in psychology classes? B.F. Skinner, Stanley Milgram in the Stanford Prison Experiment. Stanley Milgram was a U.S. psychologist from New York, and he was Jewish. Stanley Milgram was an American psychologist from New York who was Jewish. What do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean, bro? What year were the experiments? Hang on really quick. Hang on. What year was it? I want to say it was in the 60s. It was 1961! Oh, the infamous year of the rise of the Third Reich, 1961. The year that Hitler conquered Europe, 1961. Oh my god. That horse must have kicked her really fucking hard in the head. Holy shit. Let's hear that one more time.
Joker in all of us, just one bad. Well, the important part of like the Milgram experiment, because it came out of Nazi Germany, is just to understand that there is a Nazi in all of us. And if you aren't, and this is to be
There's a Nazi in all of us, you guys. There's a little Hitler. You guys know the picture of like the GPR image of Saddam Hussein where it's him like laying like this, and it's like the diagram where it shows where Saddam Hussein was in the bunker. There's a Hitler like that somewhere inside of you right now. It's like the little Hitler, and he's in you. He's inside of you. Did anybody comment? Did anybody tell her that that's not true? Did anyone tell her that? Did anybody tell her? Nobody said anything about that? Is she confusing this with a Stanford prison experiment? No one said anything. No one has said anything about this. No one has said anything about this, you guys. You guys, she has a psychology degree. She doesn't even know. She doesn't even know. Oh my god. How do we move on? How do we move on from here? I have to comment on this video. Is it IM or AM? Stanley Milgram. IM or AM? Graham. I'm going to be really passive aggressive.
Be clear, there are people who don't have a Nazi in them because they've done enough of the self-work to analyze themselves, to have a moral system that is born of their own thought, and therefore can resist.
I didn't do anything. I don't know what you guys are talking about. Oh, hey, I was informed that you may want to react to the jar call community members of ours gave us in the stream with you. Oh, sick. Somebody actually put it in my Discord. Thank you so much, Opblock. I really appreciate that, dude. Fuck, what was I just going to say? My Discord is FT Mongoose. If you ever want to send me that shit. I always like watching the jar calls. I just don't like watching other people react to them. It sounds, it's kind of gay. reacting to somebody reacting. So, but I do have the link for the last one that somebody sent me that one. It's right. Yeah, it's right here. I got it. Thank you, though, for your service. I appreciate it. I hope that you're well.
Resist evil when the banality of it pulls you in, right? Because there were Germans who resisted the Nazis. There were Germans who stood up against.
Malcolm, you said 1916. Fuck! Can I edit? What are you talking about? I actually didn't do anything. That wasn't me. That was... Oh, hey guys, sorry, it's Malcolm. What happened? That's crazy.
Them. There were Germans who shielded and protected Jewish people. So of course this is true. But to be that person, there is some level of self-work and self-knowledge that has to occur. And so when you say that person's just evil, it's extremely concerning because it's like, have you done the work necessary to protect yourself from that same thing?
You guys, have you done the work to protect yourself from the evil of the tiny Hitler that lives inside of you? Have you done the work? Have you done the work to keep the tiny Hitler inside of you at bay?
Das Wave is a German movie, kind of about the same thing, that is really brilliant and kind of posing.
Das Wave. Das Wave. German movie. What did she say it was called? Das Wave?
Basically being like, have you done the work necessary to protect yourself from that same thing? Das Wave is a German.
What is she saying? What is this? What is Das Wave? Oh, the wave. It's the wave. Oh, okay. Isn't this about the Stanford prison experiment? And in the film, a history teacher starts an experiment in manipulation of the masses while trying to teach the class about autocracy and fascism. What is it based on? It's based on Ron Jones' real-life experiment, The Third Wave. Let's see what this is. The Third Wave experiment. Third Wave was an experimental movement created by the high school teacher Ron Jones in 1967. He taught his students about Nazi Germany. He decided to create a fictional social movement as a demonstration to appeal fascism. So it also is not about the Milgram experiments or the Stanford prison experiment. Interesting.
Movie, kind of about the same thing, that is really brilliant and kind of posing this question of basically being like, who are the people that can resist becoming evil in a banal, evil through a banal process? Who are the people that can resist becoming evil through banal processes? Because that's how most people become evil, is through super small little moments. Okay. It's called Das Wave. It's in German. If you ever want to watch it, it's older.
Can you just say the wave? Das Wave. Das Volkswagen. Das Volkswagen go boom. Very cool.
We didn't know anything about Bryony, other than the profession that she did and the fact that she'd like to take things seriously. And I think it takes great skill to make the audience care for a character when there's no true backstory that's known.
True.
So I think Doherty's performance was what ultimately enabled that to cut through.
True!
That was on her face at the end, and a single tear that ran down it showed that emotional turmoil that she went through in the 5 sessions that she had with Jamie. Plus, I'd also say certain moments where she also shone was when Jamie was revealing what he could have done to Kate, and the room fell silent, and all we heard was her heartbeat and her breathing. The stillness on her face and body and the emotionless expression that she held actually spoke 1,000 words, and it was probably one of my favorite moments of Doherty's in this episode. Owen Cooper's performance as Jamie. Considering this was Owen Cooper's first ever acting role, and episode 3 was the first episode that was shot in the entirety of the show, his performance was absolutely class. Not only did we see innocent...
Wait, this was the first episode shot? That's crazy at an actor's level.
That's crazy, girl. Oh my god, that's crazy, isn't it? That's crazy.
Yeah, I was crazy back then.
He held, but by the closing moments of the episode, we saw the evil, toxic, murderous capability that he held within him due to the confrontation and the switch in personality that happened.
I literally feel like this is a movie reviewer who does not get movies. I feel like I'm listening to somebody being like,
tell me about it.
Man, I watched Everything Everywhere All at Once, and I realized, you know, what's really important? To work hard in life. And it's like...
Has anyone ever said that about Everything Everywhere All at Once? Has anyone ever fucking said that? Yeah, I'll get a kill though. Sorry, hang on. Has anyone ever said that? Ever? In the history of ever? Has anybody ever said this? Has anyone ever said this before? What? Listen, as an Everything Everywhere All at Once lover, I'm just not saying it, okay? Okay, I need it to start like right here. Okay, everybody be quiet. We're recording so I can get this into an MP4. Everybody quiet. Okay, you can speak again. Good job, guys. Good job staying quiet. Excuse me. Oh, fuck. Okay, hang on. I got it. We're good. We're good. Don't worry. No, you're fine. I mean, I don't need it. What hubbub? Oh, really quick question. You know Stanley Milgram, the Milgram experiments? No? You've never heard? It's where they get people to shock people. That's like, no, never heard of it. Why are we married? Yeah, that's totally why you got me. Never mind, carry on. Go on about your day. Oh. You can leave the door open if they want to lay in here, I don't care. I just don't... It's fine. He can stay in here, I don't care. Love you. Okay. Okay, you can speak again. Oh, fuck, that's awkward. This is what I want, right here. Perfect. Alright, there we go. It's now on the soundboard. You guys are welcome. There we go. Perfect. There was a Law & Order SVU episode based on it. Thank you. I do believe that Oh Shit from London Bridge should be added as well. Maybe another time.
That's not the point of the movie.
I'll consider. Wait, hang on. Oh, that's right. We're talking about Everything Everywhere All at Once. Great movie, by the way.
Just so it's clear, this is not my takeaway from the movie at all, right? When I see, for example, her struggling, probably part of the brilliance is that I don't know entirely what I think the writer's doing. I do think the writer leans in the direction of what this person's saying about basically like a certain level of villainization of men, and particularly violent men or violent young boys. However, they really kept it neutral. For example, when the first time the boy erupts at her, he like gets in her face, he's really threatening, he throws a chair, he's really explosive. They showed her basically like tearing up and needing to step away. I feel a little bit odd about that as somebody who's worked with
I completely agree. Anybody that shows emotion, pussy, I agree.
Very violent, angry young boys before, and worked underneath and been like mentored by people who make this their profession, right? They're her. You know, I've followed these people and I've worked in these spaces because if you're doing forensic analysis, which this woman would be probably some level of a forensic clinical psychologist, young boys being violent who are incarcerated would not be this shocking, kind of like disgusting experience.
Again, we're missing a lot of context here because the violence and the reactivity specifically is used by a boy who killed a girl for rejecting him, one, and two is posturing in a misogynistic way and threatening violence towards a woman who is significantly his senior and a woman who is in a significant position of authority above him, which is not something that you see like they act towards males occasionally, right? So generally speaking, if you have somebody who is just violent and unruly, they will be violent and unruly towards anyone, okay? There is a specific fear, and Erudite should know this, for women who are targeted by men in violence. That is a very specific and unique kind of fear that is unique to women. So knowing that a woman who should be in a position of authority, who should be in a position of power, that should be somebody that is respected by the individual that they are interviewing, is threatened with violence by a known murderer of women. Yeah, that'd be kind of fucking scary. Yeah, that's completely understandable. And the other thing to be mindful of as well is that people that do this kind of work, this temperament, this bluntness, this lack of emotional reactivity has a natural end, okay? It does not matter how good somebody is at their job. How good somebody is with selective disassociation, where you can kind of just power down, let people say whatever the fuck they want to you, and then you just go right back to what you were doing, and it's water off a duck's back. There is a natural endpoint to that for everyone, okay? And it isn't like this moment of weakness. It is actually the correct thing to do. If there is a moment that you have where you're at that point where the reaction is coming, the best thing to do is to leave and to have that reaction not in the presence of the person that is trying to control or manipulate your reactivity. That's actually what you do. You don't stay there and white knuckle it. You have to go somewhere else and let that out, because that reactivity reinforces the aggression. For somebody who has worked with these kinds of individuals, and I have no reason to believe that we didn't. Okay, I'm not saying that at all, but that's kind of like common etiquette in these kinds of spaces. Okay,
For you, this is thanks, I honey. This is like par for the course, right? When I've seen situations, for example, when we've been like in a lockup detention facility, one of the boys has a violent record, is threatening one of the staff, right, being really like aggressive and whatnot. It can be very scary in the moment, right? Obviously, it's scary to have somebody be physically threatening you. But the walk away emotions that most people in this field have isn't one of disgust. Most people who work in these spaces don't feel disgust for their.
It's disgusting when that violence is targeted specifically towards you. In the same way that you would understand that a person of color who was interviewing somebody who was racist for competency, that there would be a level of disgust with the way that they were treated violently by that person because they're targeting their demographic, right? There's a reason that there is a specific kind of vitriol and like violence and just like really disgusting feel when you have somebody who is attacking you based on who you are as a person. There's a reason that there are certain slurs that you can't say on certain websites and what have you, and it's because it's targeted. If you are a woman and you are interviewing somebody who is a misogynistic killer of women, that disgust factor is almost instinctual. And for the most part, it is turned off. I would say that any time in this whole episode, again, I actually don't know if she watched the show or not, in the entire episode that she is in his presence, she does not show that to him. She might step away and do that. She might do that after he's left the room. But in his presence, she does not show that. And that is something that is exceptionally hard to detach, is if somebody is coming for you in a very particularly pointed, aggressive, and vitriolic way, there is that disgust. Because if somebody was to say really fucked up shit to me, it's hard to detach that disgust reaction where it's like, you're a disgusting person for thinking this. You're a disgusting person for believing these kinds of things. Yes, obviously, that is a natural reaction. What's important is that reaction is tempered and that you don't show that to the person that's trying to get that reaction to you, which she does not do in the show, mind you.
Young male clients. And to be clear, if you do, I'll try to, didn't help. If they do, it's probably not the right industry for them, right? So like her ending scene where she has what I would agree is a look of disgust was actually kind of disappointing, in large part because I feel like it perpetuates this idea that young men who are violent in this way are like wholly unredeemable, which I think is the
Somebody can be disgusting while being redeemable. I think that people that are like white supremacists are disgusting. I think they have a disgusting belief system to think that they're superior to anybody else. I think that's disgusting. But I'm not dumb enough to think that people can't unlearn that trajectory. I'm not dumb enough to think that that person is forever going to hold these views, right? I'm not dumb enough to think that, because there are plenty of people that are indoctrinated into belief systems and come out the other side and they're completely changed and they don't believe those things anymore, and that's awesome. That still does not mean that I cannot be disgusted by their beliefs, their ideas, their laws or whatever the fuck they follow, right? I can still say that I think that that's disgusting, and I can still have a disgust react. I think that it's absolutely fucking disgusting that those taquitos have been sitting there this whole time. They're probably cold as fuck. They're probably gross and soggy. She's not dipping them in anything either. There's no salsa. There's no guac. Okay? I think that's disgusting. Could she learn how to eat a taquito appropriately? Certainly. Who can't? Who amongst us cannot learn new eating habits, okay? I'm still disgusted. That doesn't take away anything from that, right?
I don't think that the kid in the show is acting. What? Yes, he is. I don't know if the idea that young violent men are irredeemable is the type of judicial and societal response that we should have, or idealize, or think is the right response, right?
If anything, you can argue the complete opposite here, because what is this? God. It makes me really upset when people, can't think critically about media. Media analysis is dead and we've killed her. We've killed her. Okay? something that is important to be mindful of, again, is that this is a television show. And part of the purpose of this show is to conflict the viewer into how much empathy is appropriate, okay? Because there are parts in the third episode where he is talking to the psychologist, and it's very obvious that this kid has never had positive validation for anything. I suck at sports. I'm ugly. Girls don't want to talk to me. I don't have any friends. I'm not popular. And even at the end, when the psychologist says, this is our last interview, this is the last time that I'm going to see you, he's like, but do you like me? Like, do you think that do you like me as a person? Like, not in a weird way, but like, do you like me? Like, did you like spending time with me? Like, say one nice thing about me. That's fucked up. That's fucked up that this 13-year-old kid has never had anybody say anything positive about him. That's really fucking sad, right? And also you see the way that it's affecting his family as well, right? His family didn't do anything, right? But his dad's van gets tagged. His sister's getting picked on. The neighbors are all making fun of him and, watching them all the time. They're worried about losing business because the dad has like his own business and shit like that. You see how it's negatively affecting his family. You hear about how all these girls were just dogging on him all the time. They were calling him ugly, calling him an incel, saying that he's, disgusting and gross. They would rather like throw up than talk to him, like shit like that. So that's like the point, right? Is that we're contrasting this. We're testing the viewer's metric for like, how bad do you really feel for this person? If I show you enough tragedy in someone's life, how much empathy can you give them? How much forgiveness can you give them? At what point does it stop being about retribution? And when does it start becoming true punishment? True eye for an eye. Okay. What is justice? What does that mean? Who has to suffer? Who wins because of the punishment, the atonement for the sin? Who wins if the victim is dead? Okay. These are all core conflicts in this series, right? Because she even says in the interview directly, he's going on, he's like, oh, well, she was a bitch, she was a whore, they were passing around pictures of her tits, like, but her tits weren't even that nice. And she asked him directly, she's like, she's dead. What does your judgment of her change? Do you think that like talking down about her changes the fact that she's dead right now? Really important question. That's like the purpose of the show, is to juxtapose this kid's actions, which are reprehensible, an evil action to do, killing somebody, ending their life because she rejected you. That's incredibly fucked. But also, this is a kid. This is a kid that's never felt validation. This is a kid who thinks truly that girls are always going to like gag when they look at him. They're like, he's so ugly, gross, disgusting, loser, freak, virgin. And then his family gives him little to no support. He doesn't have a lot of friends. That's the point. That's the point. The point is to put the viewer in this weird spot where it's like, wow, where do I fall on this? This is an interesting question. That's the point. That's the point.
The psychologist walking away, feeling disgust, and this movie brain pilot guy feeling that Jamie is evil and that it was so satisfying, and harrowing to see her reaction and be like, oh yeah, he's just so evil, is basically the opposite of what we need when it comes to rehabilitative justice, right? If most of the crime is done by young angry men, which it is, particularly young angry men who are on drugs or alcohol.
S'ha donatet $5 through Superchat. Peuple like this don't bet choose for a story. They just can't info and think they can turn into a political hot take on the internet.
Does anybody just watch shit because they like it anymore? Anybody? Can we not just like watch a show and have a good time, guys? Can we not just have fun? No fun allowed is like the new metric. Oh, it's so fucking annoying, dude. I don't disagree. Thank you for the $5 Sai. And true predators rely on empathy in order to perpetuate harm. And there's something that I again want to point out, because I'm right about this. I'm right about this, okay? I'm correct about this, and you'll never change me otherwise, okay? Because I am right, okay? Send me a peer-reviewed study that shows me that I'm wrong, okay? You can watch this kid do this in this show. Obviously, it's the show. It's dramatized. It's a dramatic retelling or whatever the fuck, okay? People do actions, any action in life, for 5 reasons and 5 reasons alone. Anything that you ever do in your entire life will satiate one of 5 needs: attention, escape, tangibles. What did I say? Attention, escape, tangibles, control, and self-stimulatory. So, self-stimulatory, I'm hungry, I eat. I have an itch, I scratch it. I have to sneeze, I sneeze. Attention, positive or negative. Somebody pays attention to me. Somebody gives me the time of day. Escape. I want to get out of a situation. I want to get out of a feeling. Okay. Tangibles. Anything that I can have. My phone, a beer, my computer, my car, a cigarette, any of those things. And control. I want to control the situation. I want to be the one that's calling the shots. I don't want people telling me what to do. Anything that you ever do in your life is going to satiate all 5 of these, or multiple. One at a time, can be 2, 3, 4, 5, all of them. Doesn't matter. That is everything that you are ever going to do in your entire life, okay? What people do, and the way that you learn how to get these things, is what you do, and it's literally like a slot machine. You pull it, this reaction, okay, that doesn't work. I'm going to try pulling it this way. This doesn't work. I'm going to try pulling it this way. That worked. I'm going to write that down. Okay? So you can see this in really little kids. Okay? A little kid wants a candy bar at the store. No, Timmy, we have food at home. You don't need a candy bar. Throw yourself on the floor. Kick it. Oh, fucking God. It's like, oh my God, Timmy, don't freak out. Let's buy you the candy bar. What does that kid learn? I get candy by freaking the fuck out at the grocery store because mom is embarrassed. Okay? That's what the kid learns. Next time you go to the store, Mom, can I have a candy bar? No, Timmy, we have food at home. Timmy, this is ridiculous. Get up. I'm not getting you a candy bar today. That didn't work. Something's off here. I'm going to continue to escalate. Now, I'm going to bite Mom. What the fuck? Stop. What are you doing, Timmy? Jesus Christ, go pick out a candy bar. You learn. Okay, the more and more and more and more I act, I can get what I want. That is how everyone learns. Manipulative people, 9 times out of 10, are not intentionally manipulative. It is how they have learned to control a situation, get attention, or get out of something. That's almost always what it is, okay? So, when you watch this episode, you can watch this kid in real time. If you don't believe me, and again, it's a show, it's a dramatization, blah, 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 blah. Watch the show. You watch this kid cycle through everything that he has ever tried in his entire life to try and get the resolution that he wants out of this. He tries kissing her ass and making small talk. He tries complimenting her. He tries threatening her. He tries posturing. He tries feeling sad about himself. He tries compliment baiting. He tries asking for hot chocolate. He tries guilt tripping her. He tries freaking the fuck out. It doesn't matter. Okay? He's kind of going through the little itinerary of things in the past that have worked for him. And you can watch people do this if they get upset enough. You can watch them literally try everything that they've tried before in the past to get a need met. Okay? And that is just fucking true. Okay? And you can literally watch him do it in the episode. Obviously, again, it's dramatized. You can literally watch it in the episode. I would highly recommend it because you can watch people do this. Very truly manipulative people are very rare. People that are intentionally doing this. 9 times out of 10, people learn if I do this, I get this. This plus this equals 2. 2 plus 2 equals 4. That's how people learn. You just are rewiring and wiring and rewiring and wiring your brain to figure out what is going to ping your dopamine response. What is going to get me what I want. That's all you're doing, okay? And when people are pushed far enough, you can watch them cycle through every single one of those things in rapid succession. And that's exactly what happens in this episode. Write that down.
The way that we engage in rehabilitative justice for these young men isn't to call them evil and to view them as disgusting. It's to have empathy for why they're so angry and then teach them healthy outlets for that anger. In large part because we understand, for example, that the way that young men...
Remember what I said earlier when we were talking about laxity, okay? You can train animals, you can train dolphins, you can train fish, you can train butterflies, and you can certainly train human beings.
Hilarious.
And boys in general tend to express things like anxiety and depression is through irritability, anger, and anhedonia, right? We know that when men and boys are angry, again...
Have I been saying that word wrong my whole life? Is this another word I've been saying wrong? Please tell me. Please tell me. I'm saying this wrong. Because this is going to be so embarrassing if I... It's Adonia, right? No, I don't want to practice it. I wanted to say it to me. Is this ever going to fucking play? I'm freaking out. Have I been saying this wrong my whole life? Hello? Please, God, tell me this isn't true. I'm crashing out, guys. And it's not loading. Oh my god, I'm gonna freak the fuck out. This is not good, guys. This is not good. This is not good. Please load. Please, I'm begging you. Oh my god! Why is it not giving me the little thing? No, I don't want the overview. I want it to pronounce it for me. Please? Please pronounce it for me. No, not in Spanish. Jesus Christ. Where's the thing? Where's the thing?
Anhedonia.
Oh my god. This is so fucking embarrassing!
Anhedonia.
I'm gonna fucking cry! Oh my god! I've been saying Adonia.
Anhedonia.
I was missing the N. I was missing the N.
Anhedonia.
God, that's fucking embarrassing. I say Adonia. I just don't pronounce the N. Because I can't read. I'm dyslexic. I just wasn't saying the N. Alright, guys. I'll see you next week, okay? Goodbye. It just means loss of pleasure or joy. It's like it's different than depression. It's just like specifically like a lack of joy in tasks that you previously enjoyed doing. So usually it comes. It's really common in like seasonal depression. That's what it's most common in. But that's really sad, guys. That's actually really sad. I'm well, embarrassing. Anyway.
Again, at an aggregate level, they're not going to express their anxiety and depression.
Wait, did she say something else?
We know that when men and boys are angry, again, at an aggregate level, they're not going to express their...
Is she saying aggregate?
...ability, anger, and anhedonia, right? We know that when men and boys are angry, again, at an aggregate level, they're not...
Okay. It was just because it was fat.
Not going to express their anxiety and depression as like crying all the time, being sad, laying in bed, and like not being able to like get out of bed and worrying all the time about like what their friends think. What they're going to have is constant irritability, lots of anger issues, punching the walls, destroying things, and anhedonia. They can't get pleasure out of anything, right? These are the signs of anxiety and depression in men, which is why I'm really disappointed with the way that psychology typically evaluates anxiety and depression, because it makes it like this woman issue when I am at this point, I don't even know if I buy that at all. Not only does it do this shitty thing where it perpetuates this idea that women are just like more neurotic and more anxious and sad, but it also then creates this like dishonest understanding of the way that sadness and anxiety expresses in men and young boys, and we misdiagnose it. Because in general, we think anger is a very bad thing. We don't like that emotion. We don't empathize with angry people very well. We empathize with sad, cute, scared things, right? If I'm anxious and being irritable, nobody thinks I'm cute. They think I'm a bitch, right? When I'm anxious and crying in a sad small bean, everyone wants to protect me. This is like obviously true. This is like the meme of white women.
I have like the complete opposite reaction, to be honest with you. I would rather deal with somebody who's angry than somebody who's crying. Maybe that's just like a me thing, but that's just me personally, I guess.
Tears. And so
this reminds me one time when I think I must have been like 11 or something. Somebody told me they were like, anger is a masking emotion. Like, no, sometimes I'm actually just mad. No, it's a masking emotion. What do you really feel? I feel mad. That's what I feel. I feel mad. That anger is a perfectly like acceptable emotion to exist in isolation. Like, it's not always it can be, especially reactive anger. Like, maybe I'm not mad. Maybe I'm just disappointed that somebody canceled plans with me. So maybe that's manifesting as anger. That's reasonable. But to pretend that anger is always a masking emotion is not true. But
the way that they had this woman be tearful twice and then like look at him when he leaves with like sheer disgust felt very detached from the reality of the work that most clinical psychologists are doing. Most clinical psychologists that work with forensic...
Again, if you're a psychologist who's black and your job is to evaluate somebody who's like a violent neo-Nazi or a white supremacist, I think it's reasonable that person would feel disgust. Would they emote that disgust to whoever they're working with? No, not at all. Of course not. That's not appropriate. That's like well outside of your duties and your responsibilities. Like that would be inappropriate, right? To kind of express that in that situation. However, it's reasonable that that person has that reaction as long as they like don't emote that or like show that or share that with that person. Yeah, that's actually completely fucking normal. Like, that would be a disgusting environment to be in. As somebody who is like a minority and a victim of a certain, hyper-specific kind of violence, rhetoric, vitriol, whatever the fuck. Like, it's fair that you would be disgusted by that. As long as that doesn't bleed into, like, the way that you treat that individual or your practice or anything like that, then who gives a fuck? Yes, it is disgusting that some people think negatively of you just because of, like, your race or something like that. That's disgusting. That is a disgusting belief system. Yes, I don't understand.
So typically young boys, they don't hate their clients. They don't think their clients are disgusting. And it makes me worried when I see like coverage like this saying like, it was perfect. It was so satisfying to, what did he say?
In the 5 sessions that she had here, that to cut through, the sheer disgust that was on her face at the end and the single tear that ran down it showed that emotional.
Right.
I also don't even know if I personally would not characterize any of the emoting to be disgust either. I wouldn't characterize it like that at all. She was like, releasing all of the emotions that she was kind of bottling up while she's having this really difficult conversation. But whatever.
I don't know if I'd say that was sheer disgust. I feel like Brain Pilot is putting his own emotional reaction to his feelings about Jamie on her. She's clearly distressed. And very, very disturbed by what he said, unquestionably. I don't know if I'd say that she's just got sheer obvious disgust, but it's concerning to me that this is such a large takeaway from this episode, when in fact, what I saw is a clinical psychologist who was stressed, very worried about the fact that this young boy held all these beliefs. Because at one point he goes like, you're not the queen, right? He's very kind of aggressively misogynistic at a couple of times, very much doing weird power games with her throughout. He does things like trying to embarrass her. For example, like he says, like after he scares her, she sits close and like confronts him with some of his comments towards the girl, Katie, the girl that he killed. And he tries to embarrass her, for example, which is, just so it's clear, the writing on the boy side, super, super well done and accurate to like what an angry young boy looks like, right? A very, like when I say an angry young boy, I mean like a forensically level angry young boy, like a violent, does assaults, in this case, does a murder young boy. Doing power games. Like when I worked at the lockup, I remember everything that I saw in this. I was like, I remember my clients doing this. I remember, for example, there was this one time, it was my biggest pet peeve. God, I fucking hated this. Where my young male clients, when they were mad at me, they'd go like this. Or even sometimes when they weren't mad at me, they just go like this. And they'd be like, see, you flinched. And I'm like, yeah, of course. You were pretending like you might punch me. I'm not stupid. Of course I flinched. Drove me crazy, by the way. So fucking annoying, but they're like, and it's like, bro, you're fucking stupid. If I ran at you with a shovel and pretended to hit you in the face, you flinched. Yeah, no shit. Drove me crazy. Okay. Right. So like,
oh, sorry, I was coughing. I was muted. I was gonna say something, but then I decided it was an inside thought, so I'm just gonna keep that one to myself. Okay.
Those behaviors, I think, were really accurate, really, really well done. The power games as well, of being like, what, you think you're the queen? Those like misogynistic power games, so common. Again, as somebody who's like worked with forensic boys. Did you ever do it back? No. Are you kidding me? That is just setting myself up for an assault, like unquestionably, right? And again, the boys going like this to me, it's bad of them to do that. And also, like the boy who would do that to me, he was sexually assaulted chronically from the ages of 4 till 10.
I have the personal ick. I don't know if anybody else feels this way. I think that it's pretty fucking weird to like share this stuff about like former people. I think it's different if you're like a surgeon and you're like, I had a client that had to get like a total knee replacement. Okay, that's one thing. I had to do a complete bilateral hemispheric neuropathy panopticon surgery. Okay. Cool, I guess. I think that sounds nice or cool. I had to do a complete heart transplant yesterday. Oh, very cool. Thanks for letting me know. I had this patient come in and he had 36 eggs stuffed up his ass. Could you believe it? Whoa! What the fuck are you talking about right now? Oh, I had this client that's been raped 400 times. It's like, what? Why are you telling me that? What are you talking about? I feel like that's a little different. Oh my god, I had a patient come in today with a fever of 110. Can you believe it? That's insane. Thankfully, they lived. Oh, okay, cool. I had a patient come in and he had 42 baby dolls in his stomach that he ate yesterday. What the fuck, dude? Why? Like, I think that there's like a difference here. I feel like there's like kind of a difference here. Maybe that's just me. I don't know. I think that maybe we should like keep those things to ourselves. Like, and again, I think there's like a difference between like I worked with this client and he made me this really cool picture. Ah, very nice. I work with this client who killed 47 cats. Ah, maybe we don't talk about that. I don't know. It's very weird to me. I don't know. Just my opinion. That's just my opinion. That's my opinion. Okay.
He was, I'm not sure what caused this, but he had a severe brain injury, basically from pretty early on, that left like a large portion of his frontal lobe missing. He basically, because of how like violent and outburst he was functionally homeless. He was technically in a group home, but he could never stay. He got kicked out all the time. He was in and out of jail, in and out of drug rehab. He was addicted to meth, right? And so it was bad of that boy to do this. It's wrong of this young boy to kill a girl, obviously. But we're never going to solve the problem of like young male violence if our response to them is, you're just evil, unforgivable, and
that's totally what she said in the show.
Disgusting. That's not what rehabilitative justice is. That's just not. This is what I talked about before. Empathy is really fun when it's a cute small bean who's just crying in her room or his room. Empathy is really hard when it's a kid who's flinching and trying to pretend to hit you, or who's calling you a bitch, or who's being nasty, right? Empathy is really hard in those situations. And empathy doesn't mean telling the person, it's okay that you killed the girl. No, it's not. That's not empathy. Empathy is saying what you did was deeply wrong, and you will live with it for the rest of your life. And you are going to be buried with shame for most of it. And also, there is a path to redemption if you're willing to take it and walk.
I think, again, part of rehabilitative justice is atonement, right? So, and I think that realistically, empathy also stops at infantilization as well. It's just a fundamental misunderstanding of like what this would look like in practicality. If we want to do like true rehabilitation, there has to be like she's right. Redemption is a part of that. But redemption has to be sought. Redemption has to be earned. So if those are things that are going to be on the table, and we're talking specifically the example that is in adolescence, what is it, 6 months after this murder takes place, and this kid is essentially still justifying why he decided to kill this girl, that isn't somebody who's ready for rehabilitation or reintegration. Right? Like, if we believe in the principles of restorative justice, that people can learn from their mistakes, they can atone for their sins, and they can reintegrate into society, that has to be earned, and it has to be wanted by the individual that has done something wrong. And DZ is correct. By the end of this episode, in episode 3, he still has not admitted that he was the one that did it, even though there's a video recording of him doing it, right? So a big part of it is that he's not even willing to admit what he's done. He does, I didn't do it, but if I did, she was picking on me, and she was kind of a whore. And she rejected me. She really hurt my feelings anyway. So, like, even if I did, I didn't, by the way. Even if I did, she was in. There's several parts in the episode too where he's like, "You agree she was being a bitch, right? She's an evil bitch, right? You would agree. Like, you would describe this behavior as bitch behavior." He's literally trying to get the therapist to like call her a bitch, to like validate his feelings of feeling justified in committing these acts. So, generally, I don't disagree that there should be paths of rehabilitation, reintegration in certain instances, but that has to be earned. That has to be something that is wanted, and then it has to be something that is worked towards and something that is earned. It is not just immediately given. It is something that has to be worked towards, right? And there still has to be some kind of penance done. There has to be some kind of consequence for engaging in things that are egregious crimes, trespasses against other individuals. So think about crimes like murder, assault, rape, things like that. It's not just like, sorry, and we're like, all right, bud, get back out there, tiger. It's like there has to be some kind of consequence, whether it's a loss of certain privileges, whether it's a loss of certain rights, whether it's a deprivation of, living in society for a certain amount of time. Like, all of these things have to be done. It's not an immediate, like, oh, you guys, did you even read Hitler's apology note? Did you even watch Hitler's ukulele apology video before you guys decided to get mad at him? He plays the ukulele really good, guys. Hang on now. As people on the left, guys, like, you know what I mean? Like,
and walk that path, and it'll be really hard. And I guess depending on your relationship, and as much as I can be, I want to be alongside you on that pathway to redemption, right? That's what empathy is.
Okay.
turmoil that she went through in the 5 sessions that she had with Jamie. Plus, I'd also say
Holy fuck, you guys. I'm sorry, I keep pausing Andy.
certain moments where she also shone was when Jamie was revealing what he could have done to Kate, and the room fell silent, and all we heard was her heartbeat and her breathing. The stillness on her face and body and the emotionless expression that she held actually spoke 1,000 words, and it was probably one of my favorite moments of Doherty's in this episode.
Well, yeah, because the reactivity is going to serve as a reinforcement. Like, reinforcement isn't just like verbal, right? It's not like a verbal reaction. Reactivity isn't just, responding verbally to somebody doing this or whatever the fuck. It can be your facial expressions. It can be your posture. It can be like your body language. It can be movements of your eyes. It can be anything, right? Like, you have to be really careful if you're in a situation where reactivity can be seen as reinforcement, because you don't want to accidentally like cue off that you're bothered by something, because that can open an entirely different can of worms that you weren't even ready to fucking open. That's very important. So yeah, there's a part in here where he was like, I could have raped her. I could have touched her. I could have, gone under her clothes, but I didn't do that because I'm a good guy. I didn't do that. Other guys would have done that, but I didn't do that. What reaction would we have preferred here? What reaction would we have preferred? Ew! Or, you're right, that's so noble of you. No, the best reaction is no reaction. What do you even say to that? Nothing. That's validation seeking. Agree with me. I was good. What I did wasn't that bad, right? We're seeking that validation. That reactivity gives a reaction. My reaction to somebody saying that to me tells them definitively yes or no what I'm thinking and what I'm feeling. And as an evaluator, that's never a position that you want to be in, right?
Cooper's performance as Jamie got in the innocence in the boy at the start with the childlike attitude that he held, but by the closing moments of the episode, we saw the evil, toxic, murderous capability that he held.
Why are we jumping around so much in this
Sociopaths
video?
can't feel shame. You can't guilt trip them with some empathy sobbing. I'm sorry. I don't know what empathy sobbing is, but just so it's clear, okay? If somebody's telling you their life story about their abuse, and it's really sad and hard, and your response while they're telling you about this tragedy is to start fucking crying and needing to be comforted, that's not empathy. That's not empathy. Might be sympathy.
Obviously.
That's not empathy. And
Obviously.
it's also stupid because it just makes them have to take care of you. This is like the most classic like dynamic. Like, I know so many people that have really difficult relationships with like emotionally tiring people, because every time they talk about their own personal problems, the other person gets so upset that they feel like they have to console them, which is like very exhausting. So I don't know what you're talking about with this empathy sobbing thing, but nobody's talking about this. I at no point have said that the boy who flinched and punched at me, who by the way, I was one of the only staff that could empathize with him because
Where do you think the value that male violence has
I was built different, guys.
provided in human history plays into this? And do you see any value in looking up to positive violence like superheroes?
I do. To go back, sorry, I wasn't the only one that could empathize with him. I was the only one that for whatever reason could get through to him. Mostly, weirdly enough.
Blanket advice. Blanket advice. If you ever have a job where you have to work with difficult people, if you ever have a job where you have to work with difficult people, this is true for COs. This is true for people who work in, psych wards, state hospitals. This is true for people who work in rehab, substance abuse. This is true for people who work in, what's the word I'm looking for? Halfway houses, things like that. Being a favorite is actually a bad thing. Okay? Being a favorite in those environments is actually not good. That means that you have weak boundaries. That's what that means. If you ever find yourself in a situation like that, like if you're like a prison guard, you happen to be all of the prisoners' favorite, that's a bad thing. That's not a good thing. You don't want to be the favorite of incarcerated criminals. That's actually bad. That's a sign that you're doing something wrong. Okay? Yeah. It's always kind of like a pretty big like when people that work in these kinds of environments, when they are the favorite, that's something that should raise an eyebrow. There's not a reason that you should be a favorite, especially if you're somebody who's working in like, and to my understanding, if you're working in an environment for like troubled youth, you should not want to be the favorite. Okay, because if that's the environment you're working in, you're not there to play mom or dad. You're not there to play big brother, big sister. You're there to facilitate, like an environment where they can learn like appropriate skills, where they can learn, how to act appropriately, how they can learn to manage their feelings. Maybe they even need to learn how to, like readjust to re-entering society, blah, blah, blah. You don't want to be the favorite person in that environment. That means that you're doing something wrong, truthfully.
Because he had like this massive blow up at me, was being a fucking asshole. And I basically started like cracking in my voice a little bit. And I was like, and the whole week I'd been kind to him, except for when he was being a dick. And then I was like firm with him, obviously, and like sent him to his room. But other than that, I would play games with him. I would just like treat him like normal. And I didn't go around like correcting his language all the time. But I started cracking. I was like, bro, I just need you to go to bed. Like, you have to go to bed. This is how this works. This is my job. I understand that you're like scared and you don't like to go bed by to your own room by yourself. I get it. I understand that. But you have to go anyways. And he just like softened and he was like, yeah, I am really scared. And I was like, I know. And he was like, can I at least like leave my door open because they had to keep their doors closed? And I was like, tell you what, I will sit outside your door that's open and I will play you. I'll like read, I think I read him a book. And I was like, I'll read you a book. And all the other kids, I let the kids all crack their doors. I'll read you a book until you like are reasonably falling asleep or my shift ends. And then I'm going to close the door. And he's like, sure, deal. We did that. And from then on, it was literally crazy. He would just listen, right? And so I'm not saying that everyone has to do that. I'm not saying that everyone has to go to that extent. You just can't be the one adding on top and pointing out the kid that's like threatening to punch me or whatever and be like, you're evil. There's no redemption for you, except for you.
That's totally right. Your options are no boundaries or literally fist fight them. Those are your options. You're evil and you're going to hell, or do whatever the fuck you want. Those are your two options. This is yeah. If somebody says you don't have to follow the rules, one, that means I know the rules aren't set in stone. Rules don't mean shit, right? You don't have to follow the rules with me, but I'll make exceptions. Okay, so the rules are bullshit. You guys have discretion. I can do whatever the fuck I want then, is what I'm hearing from that. Two, I hear that I'll listen to you, everybody else can fuck off. That triangulates people that work at those facilities against each other. Everyone has worked a job where there is one person that fucking ruins it for everybody else, and this is the temperament that will do that, right? So-and-so lets me do blah, blah, blah. I don't like you because you don't let me do blah, blah, blah. Therefore, I'm going to target you. Especially if you work at a facility where people are violent. That is the last kind of environment you want to create. I'm not going to listen to you. I'm only going to listen to Janet because Janet lets me do whatever the fuck I want. You, Sarah, I'm going to come over there and punch you in the fucking face because you won't let me watch TV for another hour. Fuck you, Sarah. Ah! That's a really good environment. That's a really good idea. That certainly teaches boundaries, rules, rigidity, expectations. Yes, certainly. That's a good idea.
There's no redemption for you, Freya. You will never have my taquitos ever again. You're a big bad girl who's naughty and deserves no taquitos.
Yeah, I probably shouldn't give dogs taquitos, though.
Empathy is fine unless it ever amounts to empathy is just always fine. What's not fine is enabling, but these are not the same thing. Do not equate these two things. Hi, Nina. Thanks for the raid. Nina. Sorry, I'm so sorry you raided earlier and I didn't notice. Therapists shouldn't think I want to help this person. Instead, they think, can this person really be helped? Zed Snapper, you have no idea about mental health. Please stop talking about it. You don't know what you're talking about. The therapist, you have no idea about earlier and I didn't notice. Therapists shouldn't think I want to help this person. Instead, they think, can this person really be helped? Zed Snapper, you have no idea about.
That's certainly a question. That's certainly a question at the very least worth considering. Crazy question. I don't know if it's different in Canada. It might be different in Canada. Psychiatrists do medication management. Therapists and psychologists do like mental health, right? If you're a therapist or a counselor or a psychologist or whatever, and you have somebody that has drug-induced psychosis, can you help that person? If you have somebody who comes to you for help and they're unmedicated and schizophrenic, can you help that person? If you have someone who has therapy-resistant depression, it's a chemical imbalance in the brain, can you help that person? If you have somebody who has a really severe eating disorder because of food allergies, like they're malnourished, they're really picky about what they eat, they're really scared to eat certain things because of like very serious health concerns or whatever, can you help that person? These are important questions. Yes. Right? Like, I feel like that is something that could be asked and considered, certainly, because anything other than that is kind of like grandiose, right? Because what is within your scope of practice as well is a question that needs to come. Can I actually help this person? That's a really important one too. Say that you're somebody who specializes in substance use, and you have somebody who comes to you for something completely unrelated. Are you able to help that person? That's an important question. What if you are somebody who comes from a spiritual background? If you're somebody who provides like spiritual counseling, what if you have a client who has a different spiritual practice than you? Are you going to be able to help that person? Are you going to be able to be productive with that person? What if you're somebody who does like CBT? What if you specialize in CBT and you have somebody that comes to you that fucking hates CBT and refuses to do it? Can you be helpful with that person? What if you have somebody that comes to you that has an inherent bias towards the kind of person that you are? Say, like the example that we used earlier, say that you're a person of color and you have somebody who wants to work through their racial prejudices. Can you help that person? Are you able to set aside your biases to help that person in a productive way? It's cognitive behavioral therapy. Pretend that you're a woman and you have a client that comes to you who is a self-identified incel and wants to work on that. Are you able to help that person? Am I going to be productive in helping this person resolve their issues? That is a completely fair fucking question to ask. Pretend if you had a dream that you could if you had a dream that you could do anything. Like it's just something that this is like very grandiose, because realistically there is everyone that works in any kind of practice is going to have like something that they can do and something that they can't. Something they're really good at, something that they don't know anything about. Like, that's a really fair fucking question to ask. Can I even help this person? That's a really good fucking question, I think. That's actually a really good place to start. I think that's a really good place to start. Because I think that in general, as well, in mental health, and even with like doctors, like medical doctors as well, sometimes you're just a bad match with somebody, right? Like, I've had therapists that I don't get along with at all. And it's not their fault. It doesn't mean that they're not good at their job, that they don't have a good skill set, that they should lose their job or anything like that. But we just like did not get along, right? And same thing with doctors, right? Like, just because maybe my doctor is like a huge fucking asshole and we don't get along well, that doesn't mean that this guy is like a shitty doctor. And that's especially true with any time that you're working with other human beings and you're providing like a social service, right? So think even like case managers, social workers, what's the word I'm looking for? Like investigators for what's the word that I'm like CPS and APS investigators, like shit like that. Like, sometimes you can just have a bad pairing and that you aren't going to be able to help this person in the way that you think you can. Maybe you get off on the wrong foot. Maybe you butt heads. Maybe you've got political disagreements. Maybe you just don't fucking vibe. And maybe it's better for Susie to help this person instead of you. If you consider that to be like a fucking ego blow, if it really bothers you so much to ask, can I help this person in the way that they need help? If asking yourself that question means you don't know anything about mental health, you're in the wrong fucking field. Because like, that is part of being a human. There are plenty of people that I don't like at all, but they didn't do anything. We just don't get along. And that's okay. That doesn't mean that they're Hitler. That doesn't mean that they're fucking Mussolini. That doesn't mean they're possessed by a demon. It just means we don't get along. That's what that means, okay? And that's fine. And especially if you work in social services, there are going to be people that you don't really jive with, and you might not be able to help them in the way that you think that you can, just by virtue of not really getting along very well. And that's okay. I'm not liking the energy that we've created in the studio, guys.
About mental health, please stop talking about it. You don't know what you're talking about. A therapist's first question to themselves shouldn't be, is this client worthy? Okay, that is not the
That's not what was asked. Let's go back one more time, because that's not what was asked.
So sorry, you rated earlier and I didn't notice. Therapists shouldn't think, I want to help this person. Instead, they think, can this person really be helped? Zed Snapper?
Can this person really be helped? That's part of it. But let's interpret this in good faith for like 1 second. Can this person even be helped? Can this person be helped by me? Can this person be helped in general? Can this person be helped by this service? Can this person be helped by that service? Can this person be helped by a doctor? Can this person be helped by a fucking demonologist, by a priest, by an exorcism? These are fair questions. These are fair questions to ask. Can this person even be helped? What if you have she said earlier that she believes in natural born psychopaths. Can a natural born psychopath be helped? Is that not an important question to ask? Perhaps this person is a natural born psychopath and they cannot be helped by our own understanding of what a natural born psychopath is? Hello?
You have no idea about mental health? Please stop talking about it. You don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, dumb fuck.
A therapist's first question to themselves shouldn't be, is this client worthy? Okay,
That's
that is not the
what was
starting
said.
question for mental health work at all. Oh, you put Terrace on Freya's taquitos? Yeah, 200%, and she can't pay up.
Due to the confrontation and the switch in personalities that happened several times, it genuinely felt...
Oh, shit. Can you send it to me? Oh my God.
Perfect time to stop watching this. Wow. Cucked by Nick again. Perfect. Oh, thank you, Nick. Thank you for your service. Oh my God. Yeah, I'm not gonna watch that whole video. You can't make me. You can't make me. DZ, how long did you make it? That's how long I was gonna make it. That's how long I made it. I made it a little bit longer than you, I think. But either way, yeah, I don't really have a lot to say on that. I think that I said a lot. So, take all that with a grain of salt, I suppose. I'm gonna go to the bathroom one more time, and then we're gonna watch the Brianna Wu video. We're gonna watch the Brianna Wu video, you guys, and then it's gonna be Yellow Jackets time by the time that we're done with that. Okay. So I'm gonna put on your Minecraft videos, guys. I'm gonna put on the right screen this time. I'm gonna put on your music. I'm gonna go to the bathroom. I'm gonna smoke, and then we're gonna wrap up with the Erudite or the Brianna Wu video. Okay. I'll be right back, mamacitas. Be good little sweet peas for me, okay? Oh no, I was muted, but I'm back. I'm back. I'm back. Okay. This is a relatively
of disclosure
short video. We'll do this. We'll do this. Did everybody have fun? Did everybody have fun while I was gone? Good, good, good. I do have a fun update, guys. I do have a new name now. I have a new name. I have a new nickname. I have been upgraded from Discount Calvin Guerra, or whatever the fuck it was, to Discount Chud Logic. Yes! We're moving up in the world, you guys. Just a fun fact for everybody here. Trigger discipline still applies to unloaded guns and guns that have the safety on. You don't put your finger on the trigger even if the gun is unloaded and the safety is on. You don't do that. Just for the record. Just for the record. Even if it's unloaded, even if the safety's on, you treat every gun like it's loaded, even if it's not. Always keep your finger off the trigger until you're ready to fire. Be aware of your target, what's beyond your target, and don't point the gun at anything that you don't want to shoot. Okay? Chud Guerra. That's me. That's me, baby. Chud Guerra. Let's go. We are leveling up, guys. We are leveling up. We're moving up in the world. Let's go. Yes. Let's go. I think the first time I shot a gun, I was like 5, dude. Yeah, I'm a country boy. Okay, I'm a country boy. I love me some Morgan Wallen. All right, I love Morgan Wallen. I love Blake Shelton. All right, who's the other dude? Who's the one that sings the something catfish dinner? That song, you know what I mean? Floating down the Flint River, you know, Flint River took us up. A little catfish dinner. But who sings that song? Luke Bryant. Oh. You can't take the country out of the boy. Alright? A booger hook off the bang switch. Very true, very true. I'm glad that she's such a fan. It's Morgan Wallen, is it not? No, is that another thing I've been misreading? Oh my god. This is terrible. No, it's Morgan Wallen. Morgan Wallen. I was right. Okay, fuck you. I was right. Chasing you like a shot of whiskey. Burning, going down. Burning, going down. Listen, I'm a real country boy, okay? Alright. Anyway, this is friend of the channel, Oliver, okay, Mick Mad on YouTube. He's the one that made my review intro. He made this for me. It's Malcolm time, alright guys? This is a review of Dollcast. Dollcast is Brianna Wu's podcast that she hasn't uploaded a video on in, how many months now? 2-3 months, okay? The coveted Dollcast, where normal trans women talk about normal things all the time. Yeah. This is Oliver's review of Dollcast, you guys, so let's get into it. Yeah.
Exposing any bias I may have on the topic of Brianna Wu. I feel obliged to give a quick TLDR of my negative experience with her. Brianna and I got into an argument once on X, which led her to messaging me with a funny-sounding threat.
Don't call trans women men and we're cool. But start some public shit with me, and we're gonna get into some gangster shit.
Despite it being...
This is my favorite Brianna Wu threat, where she was like, we'll get into some gangster shit, and then after the fact she was like, that wasn't a threat. If you grew up listening to like Biggie Smalls and Outkast like I did, you would know that wasn't a threat. And it's like, yes, gangster shit is when we solve our disagreements politely, and, you know, with good faith and productive dialogue. That's what gangster shit is. Very true.
Hilarious. I had no reason to take it as anything but a threat. Later on, it came out that she was using very unfeminist and immature language about me in a group chat.
Super female-coded behavior. The fact that he's been bitching about it days later and acting like a little bitch and leaking DMs. I gave him some polite pushback on Twitter. He acted like a girl. He
What a
acted like a girl
pussy.
and kept screaming.
True. If there's somebody who's woman coded, it's certainly Oliver. I completely agree.
Where's your goddamn rational analysis about the man acting like a girl, leaking DMs? He's acting like a girl, not a woman, a girl. Like, this stuff is nasty.
Uh-oh. That's not very directional of you, Barbie. When this was brought up in her debate with Queeman, she called me a stalker who's been obsessed with her for months.
And then you started threatening Ollie, the only puna.
Ollie, oh God. Okay, this is another example of the bad faith. This is a perfect example. So with this nut job who has done nothing but stalk me for months now and obsess about this, what do I say to him?
Something which was absolutely not true. At that time. I'm currently filming this inside of her walls, and she has no idea. This is exactly how we did it in 2016. I still have the map right here. Judging by this blueprint, I should be somewhere between the Porsche garage and the sex dungeon. I can't believe she hasn't gotten this fixed yet. Anyway, let me tell you about Dollcast.
I think Oliver's funny. Okay? I think he's very funny, okay? I'm biased. I think he's funny. I can't help it.
To understand Dollcast, you first have to understand Brianna Wu. Brianna Wu is an expired political socialite who has chronically lied about who she is pretty much her entire life. Most well known for her experience in Gamergate, Brianna has lied about everything from being a cybersecurity expert to creating a successful video game or to having a journalism degree. She has involved herself in politics on numerous occasions, whether it was canvassing for people down in her home state or running for Congress herself. She's a leader of Rebellion PAC, has worked with Progressive Victory, and has done plenty of trans advocacy. This advocacy included befriending the scammer and drug addict Keffels, going so far as to make
I disavow. Oh my god. I remember at the time, everybody was like, Keffels did not use the GoFundMe money on drugs. She did not do that. Well, guys, I have really bad news.
In light of the allegations that Keffels was using the donation money for drugs, a fact which was later on confirmed. She has a never-ending laundry list of things she has flip-flopped and contradicted herself on, and to reiterate them here would make this an entirely different piece of content. I will link 2 videos down below, which outline more.
Good videos, by the way. We watched both of these guys. These are good ones. I would recommend. This one by Queeman, and then this one by Liquid Sonic. These are good videos. You want me to play it again? Okay, hang on.
She's a leader of Rebellion PAC, has worked with Progressive Victory, and has done plenty of trans advocacy. This advocacy included befriending the scammer and drug addict Keffels, going so far as to make light of the allegations that Keffels was using the donation money for drugs, a fact which was later on confirmed. She has a never-ending laundry list of things she has flip-flopped and contradicted herself on, and to reiterate them here would make this an entirely different piece of content. I will link 2 videos down below, which outline more of Brianna's past antics. Nowadays, she's joined this developing posse of useless, glup-shitto-centrist liberals, featuring milquetoast retards such as Brad Palumbo, whose entire shtick is being the normal gay. That's
also, we talked a little bit earlier, you guys, about me tasing myself on stream for a certain amount of money. For a certain amount of money, I'll do coke on stream with Keffels. This is my just joking this is my just joking heart. This is my JK heart to let you guys know that I'm just kidding. I'm not going to do coke on stream or at all. I'm not going to do coke at all. This is just a joke. This was a comedic a joke, you know. It was a dramatic statement for shock value humor. I will not be doing cocaine. Thank you.
It's not a bad faith interpretation, by the way. He literally puts normal gay in his titles. My heckin' snowflakerinos? In fact, Brianna's new show, Dollcast, is a podcast hosted by her and 3 other trans women with the hopes of representing normal trans women.
I want us to have a smarter conversation, and a place that I think we can have a smarter conversation about trans issues is a show I'm announcing today called Dollcast. I am making the show with my good friends Kelly Cadigan, Taff, and Skylar Booker. These are all amazing women. I am honored to call all of them friends. We all have a really wide variety.
I love how she woos everyone. She's like, this is the strongest woman that I know. She's brave, stunning, brilliant, incredible, and show-stopping. True.
Perspectives on trans issues. But here's what we have in common. We transitioned not to become political activists, but to integrate as women.
Integrating is code for being normal. They're the normal trans people, and we're
also, Roxy, I hope that you're well.
The weird ones. Brianna believes that if you are a trans woman who wants to integrate into society, you have nowhere to go. Except, of course, the society you're trying to integrate into, but that doesn't count, apparently. The price to enter the trans community nowadays requires you to subscribe to a bunch of fringe leftist politics and agree to never challenge the mob.
If you are a trans woman today who is interested in integration the same way I was, I don't think you really have a place to go in 2024.
You just have to die.
The price of just entering the trans club is subscribing to a bunch of fringe.
I think that we're just mad that we didn't get in. Like, how are you going to hate from outside of the club? You can't even get in. That's what this is, right? It's like, it just sounds like your application got denied and you're mad about it. That's what I'm hearing.
politics and agreeing to never challenge the mob. And I think because all of us go through this experience and come to different conclusions, I think invariably the trans community of today, it takes its turn abusing us.
You just can't say anything anymore without some fringe, mob-minded lefty beating you in a parking lot. I mean, you just can't say anything anymore if you're normal. Because of the mob. Like you have one disagreement and double cancel. Like you just can't speak. And you're always being silenced by the mob. Well, thanks to the mob, you just can't free speech anymore. You can't talk anymore without being gunned down in the street by the mob. It's the mob, I tell you, mixing innocent trans women into an ideology, because if you challenge the mob, they'll kill you. Here are a few examples of Brianna challenging the mob by spreading blatant lies. She's lied about testosterone weakening your pelvic muscles, causing incontinence, aka—
You know what's crazy? Do you know what's linked to incontinence? Estrogen. Like, she didn't even try. She didn't even try, dude. She didn't even try. Estrogen, you know what they use to treat incontinence in biological females? Testosterone. She didn't even try, dude.
Making you piss yourself. There are risks to taking testosterone. This particular risk, however, is actually associated with estrogen. She has told people that trans men can avoid getting pregnant by taking testosterone.
Wrong.
Testosterone doesn't work like that. If you're a biological female taking testosterone, you can still get pregnant. Now, it can be more difficult, but that doesn't mean you start going at it raw just because you're on testosterone. Maybe leave the uterus talk to people who have them, Brianna. She has claimed on multiple occasions that trans men are the largest—
No uterus, no opinion, remember? No uterus, no opinion. Does anybody remember that? That was big. That was big.
Group of people in the community.
This new cohort of female to male transsexuals is actually very, very new. And I don't know if people know this. They've actually replaced us in massive—
The great transgender male replacement theory. Oh my god. This is so funny. I never noticed this before. This is actually quite hilarious, you guys. They will not replace us. The trans men will not replace us. Ooh, I don't know if that's the messaging that we want to go for.
While the number of biological females currently transitioning is absolutely something warranting further research, non-binary people, trans women, and gender non-conforming people all outnumber trans men.
Very true. The other thing that's actually really interesting as well is that trans men actually make up more sexual assault statistics in the trans community as well. Like the predominant amount of sexual assault disproportionately affects transgender men. And the other thing too is bathroom discrimination is the other thing that affects not bathroom discrimination, excuse me. The rates of trans men who avoid using the bathroom, like public restrooms, is much higher as well. Interesting stuff.
Men, who are only about 12% of the population as of 2022. Crazy how the only group that requires some level of masculinity is also the least popular one. Maybe we should be overrunning the community, actually. I mean, look where you people have gotten us. Saying all this to say that even though everyone knows Brianna is a liar, the extent to which she's willing to lie is pretty astounding, considering that she uses the criticism and backlash she gets from her statements as proof that she's a victim of the trans mob. She's spreading blatant misinformation to smear and malign other parts of the trans community, but you're the one who doesn't want to have a reasonable conversation. You're the ideologue if you disagree with her. She's constantly baiting people into canceling her. And I'm not the only one who's noticed this, by the way.
But nowadays, it's all about how she's going to get cancelled by trans Twitter. She almost sounds like a hacker comedian doing a podcast tour the way she is so obsessed with talking about this.
So, look, this is going to get me canceled by trans Twitter. You know, if trans Twitter sees this, they're going to get really angry at me, but it's the truth. I think, oh boy, I'm ready to get canceled. Let's do it. Let's say something spicy. And today, we are Gamergate. Today, trans Twitter is Gamergate.
Gamergate today, Gamergate tomorrow, Gamergate forever.
And that's really it for these podcasts. There is very little of any value.
Thank you, Liquid Sonic. Just remember, guys, rule number 1 of being a grifter. Never cite your beliefs or opinions. Only cite the backlash you got for whatever you said. You would be shocked at how effective this is on normies. Like, that type of shit is everywhere. But it's especially insidious when you lie and spread misinformation like this, considering there is very little pushback anyone can give without being labeled as a fringe leftist. It's the exact same thing the actual fringe leftists do when they label you as a Nazi or a Zionist for the pushback you give them. Except instead of Nazi or Zionist, you just call them a fringe lefty. But hey, maybe that's just my female coded behavior showing.
True.
If you can't tell, this really annoys me. That being said, despite it being annoying and morally wrong, I ain't worried, because these people are so unserious, and the only proof you need is Dollcast. The first question you'd want to ask yourself is, who is Dollcast for? I don't know. I don't think anybody knows. Like, okay, the theme is clearly pink, girly, you have the word doll in there, it's very feminine coded, maybe you're trying to build a bridge with a broader cis female audience? Normal video of women talking fashion, except the part about hiding your penis, and embarrassingly girly 20—
That is certainly something that cis women love to hear about, yes. Cis women regularly need advice on where to put their penises, yes.
5 minutes talking hair. Wait, what's so embarrassing about that? Chasers. How do trans women feel about them? Well, I was gonna ask about tucking. Do women like this shit? Okay, so maybe this podcast isn't for cis women. Maybe it's not for cis people at all. Is this podcast for trans people? Well, not all of them. Maybe not even most of them. As it turns out, most trans people, including trans women, don't fuck with people who talk this much about their misery while antagonizing the rest of the community. An hour and 18 minutes of trans women being ridiculously real.
I guess I don't regret my transition. I just kind of wish I was born a girl, because I just kind of feel like this shit just in general.
Yeah, I feel that to my bones. Like, but at the same time, like, there is a melancholy to all 4 of us that, I mean, I really love spending time with you guys, because I feel like the value of the show is I get to hang with like
Oh my god, the only way that we can be friends is if we all share our collective trauma and bond over it for eternity. These are like my least favorite kind of friendships. I'm sure that you guys know, obviously. I avoid other trans people like pretty regularly because there's nothing more superficial to me than like having a relationship with somebody just because we both happen to like be trans. I hate that. It's so stupid. It's like I don't care. Do we have anything else to talk about other than like the trans take of the day? Like I don't fucking care. It's so unimportant to me. In like I actively avoid other trans people because it's like I am more than that. Like there's more interesting things that I want to do. You know what I mean? Like this is like my personal version of hell, being stuck in like the thought loop of like, oh my god, I just feel so seen and heard. Let's like fucking trauma dump to each other for like 5 fucking hours about how hard it is to be trans. It's like that is my personal version of hell. I don't care. I'm not interested at all. Not even kind of. Not even. Why don't we talk about the weather? Like the weather today has been great. Has it? Have you? Hey. Have you seen this new show on Netflix? It's called Adolescence. It's really good. Okay, Yellow Jackets. Have you ever seen that? I like that. Okay, we could talk about that. Like, you know what I mean? Oh my god, it makes me really fucking upset.
3 people that understand that every single week.
Because, I don't know, the trans community, it can really enforce a kind of like social code on you. Like you have to believe certain things.
This is 100% correct. 4 dumb bitches on a Zoom call telling each other exactly. Yeah, exactly.
In order to like interact with a lot of trans people. And that is, destructive and toxic in its own way.
I don't know, you go out and interact in the real world. I feel like for me, I'm kind of just like trapped in the castle or like my shitty little house. And I just deal with like, I don't know, just negative shit all day. I feel like I'm addicted to Twitter and social media. And I just feel like my life is about creating like porn.
Just go outside, you guys. There's a whole world out there. That's why, like, this might be a hot take. Oh my god, guys, trans Twitter is about to be so mad. Oh. Here comes a hot take. Is everybody ready? Oh. I actually think that it's really important for people to have like real jobs and like real shit to do. Like, you know what I mean? I feel like you can very clearly see a disconnect between people who are like almost exclusively socializing online and people that aren't. Like, I think it's actually really important, for people to have like something that's grounding, like some kind of in real life something, right? Like a job or a community or like volunteer work or, close friends or like an in real life activity that they like or whatever it may be, right? I think that's really fucking important. I think that's really important because you can get like so lost in the sauce. You can get so just like caught up in your own bullshit because like your scope of the world is so small because you think that everything that's ever going to exist is like just on like Twitter or something. I think that it's really fucking important for people to like have real life shit to do. I think that's so important, you guys. Please don't cancel me. I'm so sorry. Please. Oh, everybody's going to get so mad at that one.
And like, I don't know, as I'm getting older, I just don't even feel like I have as much sex appeal as I once did. And it's just, and then like Twitter just makes me more aware of like insecurities that I've never even like thought about before. And it just,
there is a sadness.
And like, that's sad. Okay. And the thing is like, and I'll be so real. I'll be the first to tell you guys because I'm built different. But like, if it ever gets to a point where I'm like, doing shit on the internet is like not fun anymore. And it's like actually like negatively affecting me, I'll probably just like take a break or stop, right? Like it makes me sad that people don't think that's an option, right? Like you can actually just like stop being on the internet for a little bit. Like you can just take a break. That's okay. Even if you just have to take a break, right? Or I don't know, maybe you just quit altogether. That's okay. Like people have existed for 2,000 years without the internet and long before 2,000 years. What the fuck am I saying? People have been existing for like 1,000,000 years. Twitter's only been here for like, what, 15 years? It's okay. It's okay to like go do other shit, And like, truthfully, if it gets to a point where it's like, dude, like, I have to choose between, like this and like feeling okay or like having, a mental breakdown or being super upset or super bothered about this, that, or the other thing or whatever. It's like, then just go do something else. You know what I mean? I don't know.
that is just, and maybe it's just our personalities are different, but there's a melancholy there and a pain that just does not go away. There's a challenge of making peace with things like that you can't change. Like I cannot change how tall I am.
And this is not just one episode. This is a common theme among their content.
It's just we're going to win in the end.
And I know, Roxy, you're like a Twitter terrorist, basically, and I love that for you.
It's going to help.
I agree we're going to win. I do want to ask you not to underestimate like the amount of personal toll some of this stuff takes on me. Like I've been around the internet for a while and I'm used to death threats and rape threats. Like if you guys look at the text message chain the night after this happened, you're getting text messages at 4 a.m. that are, hey, I stayed up all night working on A, B, C, and D. And it's because I could not sleep because like every piece of social media I had was on fire. Nut jobs are emailing me. I'm having to take down comments on our YouTube channel because
Sergio Campos, cert. Donatet $2 truc superchat. You will tell us before you leave, right?
Oh, certainly. Thank you for the $2, but I mean, like, I think that, like, generally speaking, I feel like I'm pretty good about like taking breaks and stuff when I need to. I think that I'm pretty good at that. Like, I think it was like 2 or 3 weeks ago. I just took like a whole big break or like a week or whatever to just like do other shit and like focus on other things. And then in the summertime as well, I probably won't be online as much because summertime is festival season, girlies. I've got a lot of shit to do. Okay. But like that balance is really important. And I think that the problem with a lot of people that go full time into content creation, especially when they're smaller and they are really reliant on like ad revenue and shit like that, like to supplement income and things like that. It's like, well, what's your grounding factor here? Like what keeps you grounded in the real world? That's really, I think that's kind of scary, right? Because, like, I don't think that I ever want to be in a position where, like, I'm not, like, I like streaming and doing this stuff because I think it's fun. I think it's fun to just kind of, like, gossip girl and, like, hang out and watch stuff and talk about it and whatever and, LOL, tee-hee-hee, girl time about shit on the internet. It's fun for me. And there have been times for people that have tragically been around for quite a while. I quit streaming for, like, 6 months a while ago because I was like, I just don't like it anymore. It's not fun. I'm not having fun anymore, and I don't want to do it. Like it feels like not a hobby or like a leisure activity anymore. And so I took a break, and then I came back, and I was like, oh, I actually like it again. I like doing something different. I like doing this, like doing that, whatever the fuck, right? I think that's fine. I think I'm pretty good about that. I think I'm pretty good at being like, no, I could use like a break to go and do other shit for a while, or maybe at some point you guys all be too old to turn on my stream. I'll be like, what does that say? I don't know. It's possible, but it's like as soon as it starts impacting you in any kind of negative way, I think it's time to like pump the brakes, and just like take a break if you have to. I mean, walking away is one thing entirely, but it's like there's nothing wrong with just like rolling around in the grass, guys.
It is just so over the line.
And if it's not that, it's weird anecdotes like this.
One of my favorite things about transition isn't the ladies. It's like when I was, so I left, I had an early morning kit, and then I went straight over to LAX. My makeup is done. I've gotten dressed really well. I'm just marching to the airport. I've got gorgeous shoes on, gorgeous dress, and guys are looking at me. I just love like looking at them back and giving them a smile. So, I'm married, but I'm not done.
Oh my God. This is the podcast for normal trans people, representing normal trans people, trying to appeal to normal trans people and normal people. All of this is super normal. Normal. I love it. If that wasn't enough, the editing is dog shit. The channel makes no sense. They don't even make thumbnails. Their shit looks like a Zoom call designed by a bored 8-year-old girl. In some episodes, they just sit there awkwardly while the intro plays.
Welcome to Dollcast.
I'm offering my services, and I mean it with my whole fucking heart, you guys. I will edit for this channel for, say $2,000 a month. $2,000 a month. I will do this for Brianna Wu. $2,000 a month. Like, they could be actually doing a lot with this, but for some reason they just can't get it together. Oh, I'm sorry. Brianna Wu can't get it together.
Kelly Cadigan.
I know you guys are going to tell me I'm crazy, but I think all gay men would benefit from a gender transition.
Brianna Wu.
Do you know who Brianna Wu is? It was people online. I said to Brianna Wu, so I had a lot of brochures.
That sounds like it's coming out of a
More
blender.
confused on girls or boys would be a better fit for me, and when you're bisexual and you have the potential for either, you gotta parse that out a little bit.
And Taj Tough.
Having your story heard, having people empathize with you on that kind of political level, I think is really hard to do.
It's the Dollcast.
It sounds like this was filmed on like a Nokia. Like, what is this?
Mostly normal women.
Hey there, welcome back to Dollcast.
Going through their content was confusing because they'll upload the entire call and title it Dollcast along with the episode number, but then they'll upload clips from that call as well. But not even in order. This video, Is Colin Wright the Antichrist, is a segment from the following video, India Willoughby is Attacking Us, which they uploaded after the segment. What? Like, why? This episode is titled Brad Palumbo Wouldn't Date F2Ms, but if you actually want to see them talk to Brad Palumbo, you have to get through 2 other guests first. Brad isn't even in the thumbnail. Like, why? Why wouldn't you just upload each guest feature as its own video? That would be so much better for the channel. It makes no sense, and it just adds to my confusion as to who the fuck they're marketing the show for, unless they're not really thinking.
Also, they could very easily do like teaser clips throughout the week, like because you actually get pretty decent revenue on shorts. I just think shorts are gay, personally. So you can get like pretty decent revenue off of shorts. Why would you not drop like 1 to 2 minute short from like the spicy, like flip out like 3 or 4 good parts from the podcast, drop one Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, drop the episode on Friday, and drop the whole thing, but edit it. Like, make it look crisp. Like, pay to have, like, a cool intro made. And then have somebody edit and segment out, like, the funny shit, or the interesting shit, or the spicy shit, or whatever. Do a different short every day of the week, and then drop the episode on a Friday. I don't get it.
About who it's for at all, which is probably the case.
There's got to be a reckoning, and I'm really proud that we are launching Dollcast in this moment because sanity has got to come back to the conversation, and I think we're really pioneering that.
I feel like we've seen a couple cultural milestones, particularly with the trans topics, that are like so detrimental, but are kind of what I view as like outgrowth.
Yeah, if somebody wants to make a compilation of all of my fucking crash outs, feel free. Feel free, guys. Feel free. Oh, that reminds me. That was the other thing that I was going to do today. Oh my god, I almost completely forgot. Okay. Really quickly. Time out! Really quickly. These are 2 little doodles. You guys, when you guys make me shit, like if you make anything of me, please just tag me in the fucking Discord. So Cryptic Cosmicist made this. What do we think of this, guys? What do we think of this? I think this is kind of cute. I like this. What do we think of this? I think this is kind of fun. Like a sticker, like butcher, like a logo somewhere, like these. This is cute. I like this. I like this. Okay. Very cool, very fresh, very, very different, right? Very cute. Okay. Love her. And then Travis made this. Hello. This is like, this is fucking hilarious. No? Hello? This is a good one, is it not? Is it? It's the wah. Like, that's funny. I know, everybody in here is so talented, you guys. Everyone is so talented. This could be an emote. This could be a sticker, right? Like, if you guys make, like, little art doodles of me or whatever, please tag me. Please tag me. And I will pay you if I do, like, a sticker or any branding with it and stuff like that. I'll pay you for making these for me. Obviously, I'm not going to send you guys, like, $1 million fucking dollars. But let's be reasonable here, okay? But, like, if I'm selling something that you designed, I'm going to pay you. Or if I'm using it as, like, an emote or something, I will pay you, okay? So, yeah. That was from the Black Ice. Hang on, let me get my videos up. That one's from the Black Ice Double Drop. Where am I here? This one. I always just make the dumbest fucking sounds. Do I have... This one. This one's so funny. I love this one. That's like the best one. That's the best one. I waited my whole life to hear that song live. My whole life. Oh my fucking god! I was so excited. I was so excited. Okay, sorry.
Of the lack of policing that the left has done for themselves.
And to just take this maximalist safe position, we don't agree on other things in progressivism. It has never affected our friendship.
And we've gotten to a place where people think that if you talk to the right wing, that that's immoral or fascist or racist or something.
Also, you guys, just as like, oh, sorry.
Lizardman 4 pret donatet $2 truc superchat. Is it Bronto que Brianna voliterà llibó?
Thank you for the $2. No, Brianna Who is actually her name from Gamergate because everybody was like, who is she? Also, just quick disclaimer here: if you guys are like machine gunning out like 35 fucking things for me, like if you're making art and you're expecting me to pay you for every single thing that you make, let's slow down. Let's pump the brakes a little bit, because people sometimes will like make me shit and they're like, I don't want money or whatever the fuck. I'll pay them if I use it. But if you send me like 45 fucking things and you're like, that'll be $700, that's not gonna work. Okay. We'll talk a little bit more about that later. Okay, so let's just be clear here. Okay, let's just be clear here that I don't want somebody to send me a message with like 75 fucking things and they're like, oh my god, sell all of these. The answer is probably not. Okay, let's slow the fuck down. Okay, like, you know, let's be mindful here. Let's be mindful here. Okay, let's be mindful. Let's be demure. All right.
Something along those lines. This country can't survive if we're not willing to talk to one another.
There's a lot of people that are kind of just over it when it comes to the whole wokeism thing. That's what we're running dry of, because that's what woke ideology sort of drained from us. Honestly, there seems to be this psychological fragility that just scares me a little bit.
But I think that's like so necessary that some people are able to do that just to turn down the temperature and actually get to like a more reasonable conversation.
It brings me back to John Stuart Mill, who makes that statement about one who only knows their side knows little of that. That's where I see a lot of red flags with the trans ideology stuff kind of going off the rails.
I feel so strongly that conversations with people, I don't want to say on the other side, but conversations with people that have questions or a different idea about policy, it is so necessary. Like this war where we are just screaming at each other and each side has its extremists, is not serving the public policy conversation.
Well, is there such a thing as like having too open a mind? Like this is kind of where I feel like things sort of went with the left, at least from my viewpoint as like, you know, in the trans community, is like it feels like it's gone off the rails.
Like all five of us agree that this maximalist view on trans issues, this isn't what we want from the Democratic Party.
The transgenders are out of control.
We check out Dollcast and like listen and they're like, oh, actually, yeah, you know what? Her opinions are like pretty reasonable.
That's it. You just saw every single Dollcast episode ever. These people fundamentally misunderstand what being reasonable actually means. Brianna specifically talks about how she made this show for reasonable dialogue, but they put zero effort in actually demonstrating this. Once again, trans people claiming to be something and then putting zero effort into presenting themselves as that thing.
I disavow.
That you're reasonable. You have to say reasonable things. You know what's unreasonable?
The difficulty is that while it's easy to look back in hindsight to say that, like, you know, oh, I'm somebody who would have benefited from this, it's really, really difficult and really, really inaccurate to have a pool of 11, 12-year-olds and be able to predict with really, really high accuracy which ones are going to be those ones that are happy with it through the rest of their lives.
Do you really think so, Colin? Because if you go look at the DSM standards, like it's been lowered to 2 out of 6 criteria, 2 out of 6, which is just insane to me. And like if you go read the standards from 1998, we'll put it in the show notes. It was such a higher standard. So I actually think like
and she's talking about the adult standards here, which is another wooism here, where we cite the wrong fucking thing. Okay, the DSM-5 standards. Specifically, that were reduced to 2 out of 6 criteria. That was for adults. Adolescents, I want to say, have 6 out of 8. I think it's 6 out of 8. I can't think of it. Is it 6 out of 8? Gender dysphoria DSM-5 criteria. In adolescence. Oh my god, it's because she read the AI chat overview, that's why. Where can I get like the... no, fuck. Oh yeah, it's 6. It's 6. 6 out of 8 for children. It's 6 out of 8 for children. It's 2 out of 6 for adults. Oh, sorry.
We do know a lot about what boys that want to be girls look like. Someone that has 2 out of 6 criteria, I do not support them transitioning as a minor.
Children
if
have to
someone's
have
got
6.
6 out of 6 and they're going through a major depressive episode and they have an eating disorder because they're trying to make themselves thin because they're terrified of masculinizing and, they've got suicidal ideation, I think symptomology indicates treatment. And to me, that is a much stronger argument for intervention at that point.
Yeah, I mean, it depends where we want to draw a line on, how much bycatch collateral damage are we willing to accept in here? How many kids are we willing to unnecessarily and wrongfully transition that would make them sterile in order to capture all the individuals who would receive a benefit?
Like, let's say I'll be very generous and say it is 5 trans kids out of 100 regret it. It's not that, as best as I can tell, like male to female trans kids. But why is that 5 children who may regret it, which is a very high number, more important than the 95 that are going to
It's not a question of more important. The question is, how do you vet it appropriately? Because if we developed a medicine tomorrow that cured cancer 100%, like with 100%, if you have cancer and you take this medication, it will cure your cancer and you will never have cancer again in your life. If that works 100% of the time with people with cancer, but we're unable to determine who does and doesn't have cancer, and if you take that medicine and you don't have cancer and you're like paralyzed for the rest of your life, it's like, okay, it's not a question of if we're like punishing somebody or if, you know, we're turning somebody away or like, what about the consequences of this, that, and the other thing. The question is like, okay, well, okay, that's fine. Let's say that I agree with that. How do we vet for cancer appropriately then? Because sure, the people that do have cancer that could use this treatment would love to have it. It's great for them to have it. I completely fucking agree with you. But people who don't have cancer or get this medication are fucked for the rest of their life, okay? How do we go about better understanding who does and who doesn't have cancer? That's the question. That's what people talk about when they talk about safeguarding medical transition for kids. And I'm talking about people that like actually like want to have a conversation, not people who are like, oh my God, like never. Not those people. But like generally speaking, that is the concern. The concern is that we are medicalizing children who do not need to be medicalized, and that is the result of a practice of not being able to determine who is and who is not truly like a dysphoric child that will not grow out of that into adolescence and adulthood. That's the question, right?
Feel like their lives are better, because I think that number, if you reversed it, how many of those children are going to feel like their lives are worse from not transitioning? Like, why does one count? Why do trans lives not matter and the cis lives
True,
do?
that's
Brianna
totally what
only
he said.
supports clinically feminizing little boys. There's no other way to put it. That's what she supports. And she does not give a single reasonable argument in favor of this throughout the entire debate. All she does is bargain with the guy to try and get him to change his standards for what he thinks is appropriate gender-affirming treatment for minors, which in this guy's case is none.
For a total ban on this, 100%. No exceptions. Parents do not have the right to, they've got a child, major depressive episode, suicidal ideation, has been saying they want to be a girl since they're 3. They hit puberty, they're terrified, their body is becoming like a linebacker. You want a total ban in that case?
For minors, I don't think the evidence is in there that shows that this is a reliable, will reliably improve their lives.
We've got Kelly and Taff here today.
Clink studied 34 individuals aged 22 years who had all been treated with puberty blockers and subsequently given cross-sex hormones. Their bones at age 22 were of less density than those of their peers. This shows that there's clearly a potential increased risk of osteoporosis and fractures later in life. The decision to transition has significant lasting implications, some of which adolescents and young adults may not be ready to evaluate on their own. Cross-sex hormones may have long-term effects, including potential impairment of future reproductive functioning. Estrogen therapy for transgender women, male to female, can lead to irreversible damage by decreasing sperm production, which can lead to azoospermia. Infertility is highly likely when taking puberty blockers is followed by cross-sex hormones. Youths who graduate from pubertal suppression at Tanner stage 2 to cross-sex hormones will be rendered infertile without any possibility of having genetic offspring in the future because they will lack gonadal tissue and gametes for chiropreservation. Embarking on puberty blockers therefore means the individual will likely become infertile. The question is whether a child being counseled about puberty blockers can genuinely understand the implications of being infertile and give informed consent. The treatment of gender dysphoria in child with hormones effectively amounts to mass experimentation on and sterilization of youth who are cognitively incapable of providing informed consent. Blocking puberty in boys causes underdevelopment of genitalia. This in turn makes subsequent vaginoplasty, the surgical formation of an artificial vagina, more complicated. In light of these facts, the statement that puberty blockers are reversible sounds, at the very least, misleading. The child who takes puberty blockers will almost certainly have life-changing and irreversible physical side effects, which could be greatly regretted in the future.
Every single child who was, or adolescent who was truly blocked at Tanner stage 2 has never experienced orgasm. I mean, it's really about zero.
The other thing too, if anybody has anything on this, if anybody has anything on it, it'll be Roxy, I'm sure. I've never seen this backed up from anywhere other than this Marcy Bowers interview. This is the only time that I've ever heard this be spoken of. If it's true, then obviously that's a big fucking problem. But Marcy Bowers is the only person that's ever said this, that just blocking at Tanner stage 2 leads to sexual impotence into adulthood, and it's irreversible. I've never heard that before. Obviously, the infertility is true. If you do puberty blockers and then go on to cross-sex hormones, yes, you will be infertile. Yes, because you don't develop, the with your biological sex or whatever the fuck. That's true. And it's interesting as well because a lot of these concerns are specifically around trans women. But for whatever reason, Brianna still thinks that, trans men are the devil and trans men are the reason that there's no more trans rights left to spare because trans men are making everybody look bad. But I mean, it sounds to me like the effects on the other side of the aisle are pretty bad as well. So that's something to consider, I suppose. Good night,
These
Grayson.
of course, these are just assigned male at birth, so trans feminine. And it's because they never in their lives are exposed to testosterone.
Fuck yeah! Pump my child full of this shit right now! This is what Brianna Wu thinks is a reasonable position, and the only argument she has in favor of this is guilt trips and trauma dumping. She's fully willing to ignore all of these risks that she would be subjecting little boys to, but she'll lie about shit on Twitter regarding other groups of trans people as a way to deflect.
Really frustrated with the way the majority report. You have a bunch of cis people on the show that have these maximalist positions on every single part
Not
of
the
this. You've got
cisgenders,
Emma,
bro.
who is out here pushing, like, she doesn't have to live the reality of any of the extreme positions she's putting out there. If she says trans women should be in sports, period, if she says non-binary people need to go in the bathroom, there are no restrictions, no medical pathway, dismantle everything in sight, she doesn't have to live with any of the complications of that.
What health complications will Brianna have to live with if a child is put on puberty blockers or cross-sex hormones and then later on regrets it? What complications will Brianna have to live with if a male is never able to reach orgasm again because of the healthcare she advocated for? Right, that's right, sorry. None. But hey, as long as she keeps collecting that sweet attention that she so desperately craves, who gives a fuck? Nobody cares how many times you guys get canceled or attacked by what you consider the fringe. Constantly invoking the fringe, or the left, or the ideologues, or the unreasonable trans mob, or whatever other
Not the
variation you can come
transgenders,
up
bro.
with, doesn't change the fact that you are advocating for shit the majority of people on Earth will find insane. Nobody gives a fuck what other trans people are saying about you when you are the one with a platform. Meaning what you say carries infinitely more weight than the literal humegalols you constantly milk for more victim points. You're rich, you have a platform, and you have influence. If you're still frustrated with having a lack of voice after all that, then that's 100 billion% a skill issue, and you should probably give it up. You can't just insist that you're reasonable because you can identify other shitheads in the community, only to cope when nobody listens to you because you suck. It doesn't matter how many crazy woke trans people hate you when you are the one putting yourself in the spotlight, only to waste that spotlight by dying on the most unreasonable and optically catastrophic hills the trans community could possibly come up with. Not allowing you to change your gender markers on your birth certificate is part of a project to turn trans women into third-class citizens.
The purpose of a birth certificate is not a scientific document of what your sex was you were born with. It is your legal access to make life easier in civil society. And if they want us to integrate and to blend in, there are accommodations that we need along the way. So this entire project, in my view, it is to turn trans women into a third-class citizen and to make our lives harder.
Being called a man is apparent.
What if it was all just for Brianna Wu, though? What if, like, they decided to go through with all of this, but it's just for Brianna Wu?
Dehumanizing.
I think there's a political project by J.K. Rowling and her.
The only other source that I've ever seen, Arby, is that the only other ones that I've ever seen cited are in geriatric males. So obviously, if you put a geriatric male that has already reached sexual development on puberty blockers and then you take them off, obviously that is not comparable. I have not seen the big sticking point is male children before Tanner stage 2. But I haven't seen anything about that. All the studies that I've seen are about geriatric males. So.
Her friends to call us men. And I don't think it's about biology. I think it is to dehumanize us.
I totally get having a problem with misgendering. That's not the primary issue I have. Calling half the population subhuman though? Oh, the detransition rate in FTMs is also just high because being a man sucks. This definitely seems like a level-headed, reasonable person, no baggage. I would definitely trust this person to know what's best for little boys. Oh, and left-handedness is a social contagion. Don't forget that.
My favorite tweet.
But breaking. Brianna Wu just said something that upset trans Twitter.
No way, dude! Holy fuck!
These are not...
I think this is so funny. Oh, hang on one second. Oh, that was stupid.
Not logical thought patterns. This is purely feelings-based rhetoric with lamentations about being canceled sprinkled in so that the synapses of other mid-witted, self-hating trans people light up because the woke would totally hate them if they listened to this. Just like my parents totally hated me when I went to the back of Spencer's that one time. And I'm sorry, but people on the outside looking in are not going to respect you more because you stepped on the rest of the community as a way to get a leg up in the clout game. Even the normal, straight, cis people who don't go near LGBT topics are going to be able to spot that type of behavior from a mile away. Here's a little rule to remember. A truly reasonable person would recognize in advance that if they're about to give a controversial opinion, the consequences of that will likely be backlash. A truly reasonable person would give their opinion and then take the heat in stride. A reasonable person would not give their opinion and then milk the backlash to further their own personal victimhood narrative. That's not reasonable. That's slimy and clout hungry. This show is about the closest you can get to a dick riding orgy without taking your clothes off. A significant portion of this podcast seems to be spent glazing each other and their guests.
I'm thrilled to be here with my amazing co-hosts ready to dive into it all. First up, let me introduce the fabulous ladies joining me today.
You just did introduce them with your smoke alarm ass intro, but okay, go on.
So to start, we've got Brianna Wu. Bri, I don't know how you do it, but you're the only one who can predict a twist before it actually happens.
What does that mean? Predict a twist?
It just means you're good at expecting the unexpected.
There we go. I guess it's my spider sense.
Then we've got Kelly Cadigan, who brings the heat with every opinion she's got. Kelly, you're like an espresso shot. You keep us all awake and on our toes.
Oh, wow. I guess I'm glad. I try to bring the scoop and the heat. So.
And finally, we have Taff Taj, whose creativity brings a whole new vibe to the show. Taff, I'm pretty sure you could write a novel about just putting together an outfit.
She could.
Yeah, Taff Taj. Fuck you. Yapping all the time.
So, and now, we're excited to welcome our special guest to the show, Richard Richard Hanania. Richard is the author of several thought-provoking books, including Public Choice Theory and the Illusion of Grand Strategy and The Origins of Woke. He's also known for his work on elite human capital, or what we'll call EHC, which sounds fancy, but let's be real. Richard's probably just figuring out how to make us all feel bad for not reading enough.
I don't know if it's typical for people to hog ride their guests this much when they make an appearance on their show, but I don't even think I've seen late night shows suck up this hard. It's becoming a pattern that I've noticed with low value content, where they spend an uncomfortable amount of time glazing their guests and the people they know. We saw the same thing with Not So Erudite.
Really, like Matt Binder, genuinely is lovely.
These shows need value. They need substance. And if the only value or substance you have are the names you bring on the show, well, then you're going to be spending a lot of time talking about that. Brianna especially is known for invoking names as a way to lend herself more value, credibility, whatever. Everyone she ever brings up is a very good friend of hers.
You know, a really good friend of mine is Cliff Blazinski, you know, the guy that made Gears of War. Just a fantastic guy.
Wow.
And I see his wife, Lauren, who's truly one of the most beautiful women you will ever see in your entire life. And he was talking about like her struggles to you know, form a career on TikTok. And again, beyond beautiful, beyond interesting, married to someone very
show-stopping, amazing, incredible, brilliant, never been done before, completely unique, totally not the same.
famous, lovely personality. Like Lauren, I could not say a bad sentence about her.
There's a new person.
I happen to know a lot of famous people, so I know Kate. I was honored. I reached out to her and I'm like, oh my God, please say yes. We don't have another host. And she said yes, so here we are.
I think fame is a lot to put on you, but no, not so much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a new person. Hello.
That's right. This is Kate. She's uber famous.
Thrilled to have a true powerhouse in progressive media joining us today. He's the founder of the Young Turks, a trailblazer in digital political commentary, and honestly, one of the most outspoken voices for change in America. He's a champion for progressive causes and a voice that refuses to...
It's 5 inches. What's that? You guys know the fucking video where the guy's like interviewing that girl on the beach, and he's like, "Am I your type?" And she's like, "No, I like skinny guys." He's like, "Oh, you like skinny guys? How about hardworking father? How about 8 inches and thick? How about generous? How about kind? How about a millionaire?" Today on our show, we have our guest. Dimensions are 8 inches by 5.5 inches in girth. Our guest for the show today can shotgun 4 locos without throwing up. Our guest today, hardworking, incredible, show-stopping, and brilliant. Please welcome John Cena. Like, what the fuck is this, dude?
back down in the fight for justice and equality. Please welcome the one and only Cenk Uygur.
Oh, DM it to me.
Cenk, I wanted to ask you, when did you become an ultra Zionist? Congratulations.
So first of all, thank you, everybody.
Yes.
Thank you, everybody. Wonderful to see you all. And to Brianna's joke.
What else do you guys want? You want the Fergie oh shit. Fergie oh shit, and you want the Lady Gaga show stopping. You got it.
Apparently,
it's on my list.
Both an ultra-Zionist and an anti-Semite. Far right.
It's true. It's true. You're also MAGA, as I understand it.
Their interviews are terrible. Their guest choices, as well as the questions they ask, make no sense. The first thing Brianna asks Cenk to do in their interviews is talk about his feelings and emotions about being attacked by the fringe.
I've seen like a real integrity for standing up for trans rights for you for literally 20 years. And yet, you know, this fringe move of the trans advocates have painted you out as this like supervillain over the last 5 years, which is so troubling to me. So I guess I want to ask you in a personal way, like, how has this been for you emotionally to have spent literally 20 years?
And how do you feel about that? That sounds like it was hard for you. Yeah.
Advocating for all of our civil rights and to be talked about like you're a villain. Does it make you just want to not?
That's another great question. Kelly Cadigan has a Shure mic. There's no reason that should sound like shit. I can't really see what kind of mic she has. Cenk should be fine. And then Halftage streamed for like a really long fucking time, but it sounds like she's using her webcam mic. I think that Brianna Wu has a Shure microphone. I don't know why the fuck it sounds like shit. I have no idea.
Not talk about this issue at all. How does it make you and the rest of Young Turks feel?
Yeah. So look, in the beginning,
how does your media news empire feel about this statement?
It was shell shock.
So I want to get into some spicier topics, Richard. So I want to ask, you seem like you have a real propensity for women with large body parts. And I just wanted to ask you, do you feel like you got enough milk as a child?
Wow! Richard Hanania loves massive tits! Brianna Wu believes trans adults are going to lose their medical rights in the next 4 years, but we need to talk about Richard Hanania's feral love for gigantic honkers! I need more intel on this stat. I'm so glad I finally found a podcast that just somehow magically knows what was at the forefront of my mind. More reasonable conversations and tits.
Do they really think that 77 million people that voted for Trump are all fascists, are all racist? Like, I can't believe that their bubble is so thick that they can't see that's an insane and untenable position.
So much of this show is just a broken record. Wow, the left is going crazy. Wow, people are trying to make trans women look bad. Wow, nobody can talk anymore. Wow, it was so much better when nobody knew about us. Wow, isn't it crazy that people call us...
Nobody can talk anymore. I'm being silenced. Proceeds to never shut the fuck up. You know, it reminds me endlessly when people are like, oh, I'm being silenced. It's like, yet here you are, still fucking talking. I'm being silenced. God, I fucking wish.
Fascists for talking? Literally just for talking? They call us fascists just for talking? Wow, isn't it terrible how the Democrats are incompetent? I think I'm at my limit for how much of this I can take. As a trans myself, the only passing I will be doing after this is away, because I'll be honest, the show makes me want to kill myself. There are so many angles from every side of trans discourse that people can use to get offended. Literally every group of people can find beef with the trans community, and the trans community can find beef within itself too. And the discourse isn't going to change, because everybody is incentivized to find a pocket where they can get attention for perpetuating whatever narrative their pocket has decided to go with. As far as positive representation for normal trans...
Pocket, you say?
People, I have very few thoughts on the matter. The reality is, most trans people aren't normal by modern standards, and I think we would be better off owning that. Some people will never like weirdness, and that's fine. We don't need to be liked by everyone. My ultimate hope would be that we can own up to the weirdness and accept that about ourselves so that we can get started on actually criticizing the behaviors in the trans community. The actual behaviors, not just vague weirdness. But Brianna, Kelly, Taff, and Sky are not these super special normal people. They have baggage and problems just like everyone else. And if there's anybody in the community that actually needs to be removed, it's people who cry about how hard their lives are, contribute nothing, and demand attention for the sake of their egos. Regardless if you have a piece of paper that officially says you have gender dysphoria and makes you truly trans. Regardless of if you pass or if you don't. I'll let you decide if the dolls fit that bill. As far as the show goes, it's total fucking slop and there's zero reason to engage with it or watch it at all. It's interesting in the same way studying a monkey in a lab might be interesting, and that it gives you a
like our weirdness or like trans people's weirdness. So you have to be more specific.
Particularly good look at pseudo-intellectualism and fake open-mindedness in an age of the internet that will likely be gone in a couple of decades. And that's about all I can say on the topic. Please like, subscribe, comment below, and share the video.
Everybody go and follow Oliver right now. Oliver's hilarious. Everybody go right now. Do it. Do it. Do it. Everybody do it. I am mandating. I have spoken! I need you to go and follow Oliver right now. On YouTube. Go follow Oliver on YouTube right now. Witness! Everybody witness Oliver. Witness! Good job, guys. Good catch. That was a good witness. As trans people, how do I feel about acknowledging our weirdness? We should do it more, I think. I think that we should be unafraid to say, that bitch is weird. That's freaky. That's crazy shit. That's bizarre. That's odd. That's concerning. That's strange. I feel like we should be more comfortable making those statements personally, because for a while it's like, no, we're under attack. It's like, no, bitch, you're being weird. I'm going to say it. I will say it. I'll say that you're being a weird little freak, because a lot of you guys are. Okay, guess what, guys? It's almost Yellow Jackets time. So, with that said, I am going to attempt to make time for you guys tomorrow. I don't know if I will. I have a lot of shit to do tomorrow. If I don't see you tomorrow, I will see you on Monday, I will see you on Wednesday, and I will see you on Thursday. Thursday, mega super big girl time. It's the beginning of my birthday month, which means you guys better start saving your money to give to me for my birthday, because you know what I want for my birthday? I want my hot tub to be fixed. So everybody start saving for my birthday, okay? Everybody start saving your money. I love you guys lots. Hug, hug, kiss, kiss, XOXO, Gossip Girl. I'm sending you guys to Reservoir, so everybody go tell Reservoir that he's, like, super gay. Nicki Minaj. You got it. I'll put that one on there as well. All right. I love you guys a lot. Hug, hug, kiss, kiss. XOXO, Gossip Girl. See you tomorrow. If not tomorrow, I will see you on Tuesday. Adios, mamacitas. Hasta luego.